My throat hurts from laughing.
You're welcome.
Oh God. God.
I'm be real, Chief. That one wasn't even in reference to that. That one was just them doing it to do it.
Just a fact.
That was all just self-admissions there.
Why'd you do this right before stream, damn it?
Because you started this. You
Did
summoned
I?
me.
Was it me?
Somebody's responsible
Oh, it
for
was
summoning
me.
me.
Dang. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It was me, Barry.
I did summon him though.
Therefore, this is all directly Prophet's fault.
Understandable.
Look. Zephyr isn't here. We can blame him.
True. We can blame Zin too.
I just
That would be
blame Canada.
discriminatory.
Look, someone's got to pick up their slack in here.
Who, Canada's?
Oh no, Zephyr and Zin. Since they're holding up their agreement of not being in the same voice chat. Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks pretty good.
I was about to say I'm having flashbacks to
Dragonheart.
Aragon.
I was about to say, I'm just straight up thinking about Dragonheart and just having
Yeah, let's
CGI
have
Dragon
that
Sean
CGI in
Connery.
there. Oh God. Yeah, let's do the what was it? The 2000 D&D.
Yeah. Can we watch that?
Which one? I don't know if he was talking about Dragonheart, the 2000 D&D movie, or How to Train Your Dragon
Dragonheart.
trailer. No.
So good. Sean Connery's the best Dragon Man. He is. Sean Connery. I'll say Sean Connery is also just the best.
Am I confused?
He is.
Is there something Sean Connery isn't?
No.
Besides alive?
Wow.
Fuck you.
Can be only one.
Excuse me. But why?
Also, it's very unmonitored.
I can't. My arguments against that cannot be said on stream. Sorry.
We should send the CIA down to 4chan. Clean that up.
Who is this man?
Yeah, seems very hands off.
My friend sent me something about how the FCC might be trying to get Bill off.
They're trying to get the Chromium opened up because of the monopolization.
Well, it's
That's
not even
why
so
they're
much
trying to
Chromium.
get off.
It's the integration between Chrome and Google searching that they're aiming at. Yep. Oh yeah. I mean, you can change it, but the default is. The jukebox apparently needs. Goddamn Zephyr.
I'll just go back to blaming King.
Understandable.
Scuff good.
And shitification.
Oh god, that was good.
That's nice. Roller coaster of emotions for you. How many boxes am I at?
Not enough. Get back to work.
Adam.
I have more than you.
Yeah, but you also need more than.
It's not need, more of a want.
I am at 135,000 tickets.
I am at 400 and
So I'm at 236 boxes. Which is 36 over my target, so I'm doing great. More pants.
Joey.
Hello. All right, chat. Sorry, I was running behind and then had to reboot Nightbot, and apparently Nightbot totally updated their GUI, like their actual interface. So like that made things worse, and then I just got the tweet put out. So if you guys do me a favor and go give that a like, I'm gonna go grab some water and we'll be ready to begin. Okay. I have not finished my lotto grinding, but this is purely because I literally did no lotto grinding today. I'm like 13 boxes away from my goal, and there's still 3 days, so I was just like, yeah, there's no rush. Okay, let me grab today's sauce. Woo. You ready to re-review Vengo? No, I don't need to. It's funny because I saw a lot of people being like, "Oh, Cad's gonna be pissed," and I'm like, I would re-record the video if there was something substantial. Unfortunately, this upgrade is not substantial. Like it literally changes none of the analysis. So yeah, it's worthy of talking about, but because it quite literally changes nothing, I just was like, yeah, whatever, I'll talk about it in the comment section of the video, which is what I did. But we'll talk about it here real quick. Okay, just waiting on that program to open, and we should be good. A newer version of Outlook is required to continue. Be a shame if it just didn't fucking update. Damn it, it updated. Okay. All right. Should be good to go here. Let's get this party started. Hello, everybody. I hope everybody's doing good. Here is today's sauce. There you go. Yeah, Van Gogh got an update. It's rather weird. We've had this happen kind of before, but not really this fast. We had an actual in-event upgrade with MHX, but we haven't had one where like the unit just after release got an upgrade like this. So it was certainly unexpected. It caught me at unawares, caught just probably about everybody with their pants down. But yeah, like I said, like nothing too major in that regard. There's no like big change to it. It's just a addition to the third skill, so I'm not super worried about it. Let me get it pulled up on screen real quick here. If we actually have it. Hello, Aniko. Hello, Mukiwara. How's everybody doing today? My brain. Okay. So basically they came in and they added this, and it is an upgrade. Like, this is a version of it that if you don't, again, like do the event, in theory, you would not have this, but like you acquire this basically by virtue of like doing the story and everything. So it's clear that it was always intended for this to be here. I didn't feel like the skill was bad. Outside of it, it's still maybe a little bit plain for today's current standards, but like this is just kind of how things always are with FGO at this point. You expect that a unit is either broken as all hell or just like okay, and this is kind of an appearance of, hey, it's an okay skill, got good survivability, but not really much else. So they come back in and they say, hey, we're going to give it a scaling crit damage modifier for 3 turns. That's basically going to increase by virtue of the number of stars that are currently present. will not consume the stars. It will simply check to see if they're there. So if you have, again, up to 50 stars, you're going to get the maximum benefit, which again, you guys can see it is stacking basically in that regard. So it's certainly nice that this is a thing. It's going to mean a lot of crit damage, but like really the only thing analytically that this changes is, to me, it probably makes the fourth append less useful because of the way that crit scaling can kind of work. You're going to have so much of it. You're going to probably have a ton of it from, buffing her with Scotties and stuff like that, that at the end of the day, the fourth append is probably just not nearly as worth. But otherwise, nothing else in the analysis really changes. This is just nice to have, and it's there for if you need it. But ultimately, and why I think they kind of did it is, again, this whole city battlefield gimmick that she's got going on with the second skill. I think they really wanted to reward it. They really wanted to make it so that she generated stars with the MP, and then potentially stars when you press the second skill. And then, boom, all of a sudden, now you've got enough so that when you pop the third skill, you get a ton of crit damage. So I think it's what they're trying to do with her. They're trying to turn her into more of a crit-centric unit. But yeah, it basically is the way it is. 150%? Yep. Did look weirdly weak. Like I said, I had no issue with it in that sense. We're so used to, units that have a grocery list for basically a skills effects, that seeing a relatively plain Jane one probably is wild to some people, but to me, I see it all the time, so it's nothing that crazy. And we do still get units to come out that don't have a laundry list of effects, so not the end of the world. Hello, Blue. Took a while. Nice burning. It is. We had 242 boxes. Not bad, all things considered. That's perfectly fine. Yeah. So, more of the news about this is that this is such an irregular buff. It's not the buff itself that's that crazy. It's a nice buff. It's certainly good. It's very similar to like Calamity Jane with how she has a scaling up of effects. Hers are all different. This one's all the same exact type. But yeah, at the end of the day, the bigger story is like the fact that they did this partway through an event. I'm going to say that they probably will not do this too often, though, for the exact reason of quite literally all this is going to do is it's going to upset like content creators and stuff that go like, hey, I go out of my way to like try to get the videos out for these units as fast as possible, and then you fuck us, right? Like, I'm sure in that regard, this sort of thing is just annoying for a lot of people. If this were a bigger buff, I would have had to have gone back and re-recorded the video. And I wouldn't have felt too bad about having to do that. But yeah, like, to me, I think this is something that they probably should not do very regularly. They haven't historically, so I'm going to assume that they won't. If they start to do this more often, they can. However, I will say this. If they do this more often, this is very likely to kill content creation for the game. And I really do mean that. Like, imagine if all of a sudden you have like all this data mine stuff, like, and basically everybody makes videos based off of that, and then it changes. Right? We see this all the time with people that get like early access to things like CD keys for games and stuff like that. Or again, in like I know on the MiHoYo side of things, they have people that basically can like kind of look into their test servers and stuff, even though they're not supposed to, and get the leaks. So if something changes from point A to point B, makes it very difficult on the content creators. Doubly so when they think like they've done the best of their ability and they've put in a lot of effort, and then they have to go back to the drawing board. So that's definitely something that will piss a lot of people off if they continue to do that. So do I think they care about their content creators? No, to an extent. I think they probably know that that continuing on this path of doing this sort of thing on the regular going forward would be not smart for them. MHX got an NP buff day one. No, she didn't. MHX didn't get an NP buff day one. MHX did get a buff mid-event. That's what she had going on. And that's the reason I tied this one to that one is because they're both very irregular in the fact that they occur mid-event. The reason for that is because that theoretically means when this event is over, you can no longer gain access to this buff. So if you just don't do the node somehow, it's gone. You don't get it. I assume just like with MHX, like they added hers back later as an actual like interlude. That's probably what they'll do here. Because I was talking with Avalon about it as to like, will they like add this to something like the Evocation Festival? Maybe, but I'm gonna bet it's just gonna appear as an interlude when you have her. Things are going pretty good for me. Her synergy with her Foreigner version is also silly. Yeah. Going pretty good, JC. How are you doing today? You're just talking about the Van Gogh buff here. So, like I said, the more regular thing for me on this is that, like, as far as I know, this is the fastest any singular unit has ever received an upgrade. Like, boom. We normally do not receive something this fast, where it's like, hey, there's an immediate, like, we've seen like bug fixes happen the next day and stuff like that. I can't say I've ever seen a like full blown boom, there's an actual like skill upgrade or NP interlude immediately like that. Do you think they did it to make it seem like she's improving throughout the story? Yeah, a little bit of that. Like, I think it's that plus like just again to like kind of hold some stuff back so there's something new and exciting towards the end of the event. Like I said, I'm not anticipating that this is going to become a common practice. I don't believe so. Because if it does, it actually does cause problems. So, and quite literally, chat, by the way, this is something that can only happen with welfare. And if you need explanation for why that is, I can explain that as well. Caster Kubit, his tied to story. Yeah. Why? With a gacha unit, you are rolling based off of the unit. So if they try to pull out a buff later after the fact, people will scream. Because they'll go, oh, I would have rolled had I known there was going to be this. So it will get people upset. It's fine when it's like happening at a later date and stuff like that, but when it happens in close succession to the actual banner, they would be in a little bit of trouble over stuff like that. I'm not going to say it'd be the end of the world or anything like that, but I do think they would get some people complaining about it. With a welfare, it's free, so no one really cares. That's why I say like this is probably something that can only happen with a welfare. MHX wasn't a welfare and got mid-event buffed. Yes, MHX had also been out for a long time before she ever got that buff. So it's not even remotely close to what, we're talking about here. And again, look back. How many times have they done that since MHX? You're looking at quite literally the next example. For over a year. Oh, she'd been out for like... What was that? Saber Wars 2 was when she got it? She had been out for like 2-3 years at that point. If you had to choose between Lartoria and Aurelia, who is the top waifu? They're the same image. What do you mean? Van Gogh yearns for the mines. Can't wait for the event to come to NA. It's a cool event. Like, I was actually, so I had a doctor's appointment today, just my normal like annual checkup. They were kind of revisiting some stuff from actually, yeah, it was technically not my normal annual checkup. I had my annual checkup like 6 months ago, and they were revisiting to test my labs and stuff to see like, was everything okay? So I was like sitting there in the doctor's office for quite a while. Actually, they were really slow getting to me. And I was playing the event, and it's like, it's tedious as all hell, but it is a fun event. I have like no issues with the event overall. I wish it was like not as tedious, which is the same complaint, to be fair, that I had about Oku. So like, to me, like, that doesn't make Oku a bad event either. It's just one of those deals where it's like, you wish that, again, you didn't have to wait through the animations after like the 50th time of seeing them, that there was some sort of acceleration for it. Does Aurelia have a bunny suit? She probably could if I asked someone nicely. Aurelia and Lartrea have different personalities, though. Yes, they do. Aurelia is a lot more bubbly and upbeat. The real questions, yeah. But no, I didn't have any issue with it. But yeah, the doctor's appointment went well. I basically got a clean bill of health, no issues whatsoever, and this is evidenced by the fact that my next appointment is not for another year. So they told me I quite literally can just like basically like go off and come back a year later. There you go. Let me zoom her out. At least there aren't as many loading screens as in Oku. Yeah, I mean, you can tell. Like, there's actually some quality of life there that Oku didn't have. For instance, in Oku, when you select a node, it first has to play a, like, frickin', like little blurb of, like, text. Then you have to click again, and then it will go into the node. So it's like, it's really odd that Oku had like such a disjointed thing, because there'd be so many times where I'd be like, you know, just clicking through the thing on Oku, and I'd look back down at my phone like a minute later, and I'd be like, I never went into the node because I needed to click like one more time. So they got rid of all that crap. It's just literally press it once, okay, and go. None of the like extra stuff, which even in Oku you had the whole like confirmation screen and screen and everything else. So like, quite literally, they just cut down on a lot of the tedium right there, and yet it still feels too tedious. It still feels a little bit too much. OG Oku run, you couldn't skip the title when entering the node. You couldn't in OG, but I think you could on the rerun, because that's where they started adding that feature. But yeah, like, my issue is that like we have to basically wait as the camera like moves exactly to the point that you selected. Then it has to play the animation of Van Gogh just beating the crap out of like the doors and stuff, which is cute and all, but again, like I said, we've seen the animation like so many times at this point, and it never has like any variation to it. So I'm like, okay, you know, this could stand to either be faster or skippable at this point. To me, it didn't feel tedious. I like seeing Van Gogh explode shit. Char, let me ask you one question. Do you play an A? Hello, Robo. Good news? Or did you just mean my reaction to the doctor's news? No news is good news. Gar must be thinking hard about this. CAD mascot is missing again. Yes, mascot is. I don't know why either. Really weird. There, chat, she's coming at you. No, but that's the reason I don't. Right, but that's exactly why I'm saying it's absolutely tedious as fuck. It's really obvious how tedious it is when you have something else screaming for all of your time, which is the NA Lotto, right? Like, so it becomes very blatantly obvious that the event is like super wasty with the animations and stuff like that, right? And I know this for a fact, even like if the NA event wasn't a concern, I have quite literally had moments where it's like, okay, time to go to bed. If I'm at like 140 AP and I need to go to bed, usually it's 3 nodes. Right now with the current event on JP, oh no, it ain't do 3 nodes. It's like literally I can either go do 3 old nodes that are inefficient, or I can sit there and I can like unlock point after 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 point. Finally, I get to a new node. Then I can do my 3 nodes. It's tedious. Like I said, even throwing out NA, the event on JP is tedious. It's just so much more apparent given the Lotto. But that's usually the bed rule is usually my gauge anyways, because that's always the problem that I have is like, oh, I need to go to bed. I got to get up for work in the morning. Quite literally, however long it takes me to like do my shit in the game and get to bed is how much sleep it costs me. So it's like, it's one thing if it's 10 minutes. It's another thing when it's like half an hour plus. Damn, you're describing Lotto grind, but with story. Lotto grind is absolutely tedious, but Lotto grind is absolutely your choice. So it's like, you don't have to grind the Lotto, if that's the point you're trying to make. She's giving it to me like X. What? What does your shift start at work in the mornings? Usually 8 a.m. I'm usually 8 to 5, and during tax season, I'm 8 to 6. Plus working on weekends. And depending if it's on a deadline, it might be longer than 6. So if we find out JP gets a Lotto during the December 8th stream, will you go as hard on it as the NA Lotto? What do you mean? Because like they won't be active at the same time. So like are you asking like somehow will NA affect JP in that regard? Or are you just asking like how hard I would go on a JP Lotto? Hey Wrecker, good morning. You must be the opposite side of the world from me. I would assume somewhere in East Asia. But yeah, no, usually my box goals on a JP Lotto are determined entirely by my need. It's difficult because I don't have as precise, because I don't keep as good of track on my JP account as I do my NA. So I kind of eyeball it a lot of the time. But like I said, literally, I think the past 3 Lottos on JP, I've done 500 boxes. So South Australia, okay. A land down under, indeed. Okay, let's not touch that. Let's go back to this. I'm literally in the middle of doing the story right now, JP. What the heck? Okay, so This was a forced battle. Like, I literally am. I don't get to use my Mystic Code. I have to use these units specifically. Okay, she at least has some of her upgrades. That's one bomb-ass Tut Ascension. Which is wild that he's a Berserker now. I think we're gonna go with the burrito of the marts. Okay, good. I should be able to NP with her. Because of event story. Yeah, the story for this got really fucking long. Like, I know it's because, like, I was behind and I was blitzing it, but, like, I had to deal with, like, what was it? Like, 2 or 3 back-to-back, like, rungs of, like, 7 to 8 nodes. I was like, holy shit. Like, Nasu clearly just started bloviating a little bit. I don't really have the chain like I would want, but we'll go with it. I better save the survival skill. It's a guts for break bars, yep. Very happy with this boss. Ties up some stuff for me since Van Gogh interlude. Yeah, I have no real opinion on the story. There is a new character. Seemingly it would appear that we have a new unit coming. But when, where, why, how, I think that sort of thing remains to be seen. Gonna go ahead, pop all that. I assume this is just a break the break bar type deal. We're gonna go quite literally with Nobu's card because I should have the third rank of the first skill. Story's really convoluted also. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. What's your opinion on the weight ratio of audience votes for the Gamer Awards? We'll talk about that. I'm gonna go through all the Gamer Awards stuff with you, and we'll actually have like a media share night if I can get done with everything. I need to get out of this node though, so that I can spend my AP down. I'm sorry, did I just die? Like, I guess that was it. That was the end of the node. Yeah, I'm aware who the writer is. It's better because now event errors give pure prisms and saplings. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a nice thing. Okay, so I finally made it to floor 7, which I guess is the basement. Yeah, just again, so you guys can see, like, I'll keep tapping through this as long as it's 0 AP, but the second I hit another node, I'll just stop. And I'm sure there's going to be another node. It's actually funny because pretty much after like floor 4, this event has very much become on rails. Yeah, okay, so there you go. Oh. Mining, so we got to go down to the basement. You're not wrong. Yeah, I'm wondering if there's going to be a banner 2 here, or instead if there's going to be like, you know, some sort of additional campaign or something like that. Actually, was there a... Yes, there was a free quest on this floor. Yeah, you can see, like, it got very linear. There was no branching path anymore with these. Really? This just dropped building materials? I don't know that I want that. Because I need shop progression. Okay, we'll do this. At least give me something. Actually, which one was it? Gold and bronze. So this means this is the actual gold node. Which matters if I can find somebody that has the gold C. Like Turbo got me. Again, I don't have any C's for the event. These are all the shop C plus the one guaranteeable 3-star. So I've just basically been coasting right through and doing everything I can. But there's nothing much I can do to actually influence my drops other than taking an appropriate support. Hello, Azure. How's it going? 2-story 90 plus unlocks. Oh, it's fine. Like, it's just one of those deals where if I sit down to do story, we won't get done with all the other stuff we have to do tonight. So, and like I said, I'm already technically behind in the event. Is that castle suggest inside the pyramid? This is supposedly like our quote unquote late Halloween event. So I'm not sure if like that's kind of why that looks that way, or if it's something else. It may be. I don't know, right? Hello, Shadow. Finished up Lotto for the day by using nothing but blue apples. Nice. Yeah, I am almost out of my silver apples, but I think I'll still have some left. Like, by the end of the Lotto, I will reach my goal and I will still have silver apples left, which means I never got to my golds. So, and I've talked about this before. You guys don't have to do things this way, but my mentality on apples has always been as such that bronze and blue apples should always be used first, because they do not scale with your AP bar. So the longer you can delay the use of gold apples and silver apples, the more likely you are to run into a scenario where somehow your AP increases. Don't get me wrong, if you're sitting at max master level, that's way less of a thing. But there's even the mentality of like, yeah, if I could sit on it for long enough, maybe we get another master level increase, and slowly but surely I make my way up and I get another point of AP. So it is a thing, because the gold and the silver actually do scale by your AP bar. Sitting on them longer is theoretically to your benefit. So like, it's a absurdly minuscule min-max thing, but it is something that I do. I've always done it, and I don't know why. We got 200 plus gapples. Yeah, I believe it. Did I just... God damn it. I did what I've been doing in the other comp, which is where I take Morgan's middle skill and I throw it on Koyan. So this is going to make things a little bit spicier. This weren't casters, I could have maybe gotten away with it there. I don't see anyone hitting 170 before Iliafest. Oh, that's fine. The thing with that is, though, too, ask yourself, like, by Iliafest. So if you're like me and you have not used up all of your lottos or all of your apples this lotto, do you see yourself doing the same thing next lotto? Or do you think you'll use up all of your apples next lotto? If the answer is still no, it doesn't matter. anything you're hoarding for right now is just going to carry forward through the next Lotto even. So like, it's like I said, you should just always use your blue and your bronze first. Why? Because they don't scale. They're a finite amount. They're locked in at what they are. There is something to be said about keeping like certain things. You know, we get three seals a day on JP. So there's really no skin off my back since I don't plan to do the CQ today. What materials I'm scarce at? Yeah. But that's why I say that. So like, if you were like, oh man, I started out this event with 500 apples, let's just say of any sort, and I'm ending the event still with 100 apples in my clutch. Again, at that point, that's 100 more apples that you have to build towards the next Lotto. So do you see yourself in the next Lotto going like, aha, now I'm going to use all of these? Or do you see yourself instead doing the same thing you did this Lotto? And then you go like, oh, this is actually going to make no difference. I will literally end up in the exact same way. And at that point, if you will end up in the same way and you do carry the apples forward, it's to your benefit because then you will hit 170 and then you'll just go like, aha, now I have the extra point of AP. And the way to think about it too, so for instance, you might be thinking, oh, it's just 1 point of AP. That's true. It's just 1 point of AP that every single one of your apples will have. So if you have 100 apples there, delaying them, that's 100 extra AP. I mean, maybe you cap out, maybe it gets wasted, maybe it's not a thing, but that's exactly why I do it. It's like, it's just an efficiency thing. It's min-maxing to an extreme. Keep bronze, not go over is what you're saying. Yeah, sorry. I think I like literally got cut off like mid thought process there. And yeah, it's to your benefit to sometimes keep a couple of bronze around purely for that reason. Just so that you have the capacity to go like, hey, I'm at like 30 AP and I need to go to bed, but like I'm gonna have a busy morning. Pop a freaking bronze, do one more 40 AP node, send that shit down to 0, and then go to sleep, right? Like, it's usually a little bit better to handle things that way, and that way you're not like, oh man, I popped a gold apple or something like that. But yeah, sometimes having a couple of bronze around, I'd say like 50 or less can basically at least allow you a little bit of wiggle room if you need it. No CQ at today? I mean, that's fine. Like I said, I couldn't do it today anyways if I wanted to. Oops, already used 100 gold apples and 50 for this Lotto. It's fine. Yeah, like I said, it is the most like minuscule of like meta efficiency type shit. You don't have to worry about it too much. Actually, I need to I need to do my ordeal call. I am getting to the point of getting rather full. I will quickly cheat and just go bam, 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 and we'll just go in with the event Cs because I don't care. What do you think of the Van Gogh buff? It's a good buff. It's nice. Like I said, came out of nowhere. RTZN4, thank you for the follow. But yeah, it's like it's such an unexpected thing. We talked about it right at the beginning of stream, but it's just irregular because of how they handled it, right? Like I've never really seen a unit get a buff that fast. It's not necessarily that she like needed it or anything like that. Like, oh wow, she was so bad. The buff is nice, but it doesn't actually change that much for her. And at the end of the day, it's, to me, probably like chat said earlier, just something where they're trying to show you a little bit of like character progression throughout the event for her. So I think it was always planned. They were always like holding on to it, and it's just something that like it wasn't out initially, but now it is. And so it's like it's a regular because we don't see that very often happen. Like I said, MHX is the only time I've really ever seen an in-event buff like that. But yeah, it's good. It's nice. What are we doing? Just mopping up my AP on JP here real fast. Avatar free today? Yeah. Hello, SSJ. I kind of hope it'll count towards the interlude count later just for milestone's sake. It probably does. Like we were talking about before, I assume it's going to be added as an interlude. So it'll be either an interlude or a strengthening. Like if they don't want to count it as one, it'll count as the other. But it's definitely interesting the way they handled it. It's not something that they regularly do. But okay, that's AP on JP done. We got the final EQ on NA to do real fast here, which is purely because the 2-turn last night turned into a 9-turn. We probably weren't going to get to it anyways because stream ran over because of that. But yeah, I haven't looked at this one. It's Morgan Le Fay. I assume this is a servant gauntlet, as most of these usually are. Normally, your final EQ is a servant gauntlet, and it's usually the only one you actually need to do because it has the nice rewards locked behind it. Where did I put my fandom? Where'd I put my fandom? Did you already do the 1-tick quest at the very top? What do you mean? You talking about story? Yes. Is it yes? Yeah. Okay, the finale. It's just Morgan Le Fay, so it's not a servant gauntlet. Interesting. Oh. Each turn, the servants involved in Morgan Fest will appear and give some buffs to Morgan. They will withdraw themselves at the end of the turn, but if they can be defeated before they withdraw, they will give additional buffs to the player servant and advance Morgan's damage resistance stripping a bit. Battle ends if Morgan is defeated. There's 0% death rate, so you can't insta kill her. Tends to attack Fey or Round Table Knight enemies. Damn. Increased her own damage resistance by 300% for 99 times 10 turns. Jesus. At the start, has a 5% chance to seal her own NP. At every turn, she will summon 2 servants. After summoning all the servants, she will cast Let's Begin the Final Trial. She will remove her own NP seal buff. Reduces all enemies' NP generation by 30%. Fuck you. NP charging rate by 30%. That's also dumb. I really dislike when they do this. And it's funny because they don't... This is another effect that they very rarely ever put in the CQs because I think they know it just immediately pisses people off. And part of the reason that I believe this to be an unfair effect, just so that you guys can see, okay? So we are used to getting things like NP gen down. There's not a lot you can do about this. But reducing your enemy's charge rate by 30%, this is bullshit, at least for the reason that theoretically you don't know any of this info. Like, you cannot know how much charge something gives you other than like by actual like game knowledge of use. Like, oh, I know this unit charges me 30% charge. So this hard fucks that. And basically, it's dumb to me because the only way that we could know this otherwise is by data mining. So I really dislike that they do anything affecting like charge capacity, because not only is it just annoying, it's like quite literally one of the like worst things that they could inflict upon you as a player, but it's also just something that it feels kind of bullshit because it feels like they're countering your meta knowledge. And I don't like that. I feel like at that they're just punishing the player. Like, it's less about trying to come up with a challenge and more just about like fuck the player. The worst is buff success down. Yeah, I mean, I've seen things where it's like, oh, your charge skills charge you for 0. And like, those are never fun. Nobody likes that either. So it's like, it's just really dumb to me when they do this. Went in blind and had to use 2 seals to clear the ending. Yeah. Reduces damage taken by 50,000 for 10 attacks. Absorb NP gauge 50% from all enemies and gain 2.5 NP ticks per enemy gained drained. Okay, so that means that the final break bar is basically going to charge full. Got a ruler, alter ego, pretender. Alter ego. Okay, so Berserker is kind of how you want to handle this, because there is not like a foreigner in there. Sent you a rundown of a comfortable 14 turn clear. Jesus. So what you're saying is this is going to be like an 80 turn clear. Best off last night. Okay, so why the single target then, and why not like something AoE? Because like you basically have the makings of a invincible comp right there, right? But like what I was gonna do, because you ignore the enemies. Yeah, I was gonna say what I was gonna do is I was basically just gonna sit there and like just AoE loop them and just shit on them. They just rotate every turn? Yeah. Wait, I'm confused. You switch out the DPS for George? Oh, are we just tanking her basically until her shit falls off? Okay, I got you, yeah. Yeah, that's fine. We can do that. Yeah, it's probably better to use an Oberon. Not even gonna lie. I have too many Bonsies, chat. There it is. Oh, actually, no. Which one do you have on George there? That's an old Valentine C, isn't it? Self-invuln to hit. I'd have to see if I have it. I don't know. Well, let's see, because I know, like, Volaman does that, but Volaman's 3-hit, basically. Be under defense. I do not. I'm just looking at what my options are. Volaman's so damn good. You can see, like, I have kept multiple copies of Volaman. It's rarely useful, but when it is very nice to have. Charge up? Yeah, these should be overcharged. Sorry, I have MLB of that. Well, here we go. It helps being able to use both of my variants because both of mine are in P5. God damn it. Double tapped it. Just out of curiosity, why Salvation and not something like Prisma again? Like, are we really gonna need the extra hits that bad? Just to not get damage on them. I like Prisma better. Because to me, if anything, what I would rather have actually happen is if I could only have Prisma on one of them, I'd rather have it on Castoria. Purely because Castoria is the one that actually has a hard time getting back to her NP without, again, devotedly using her cards. She obviously will, but I prefer to have, like, the shit ready where if I have to fire it faster because Morgan's eaten through it, I can do that, and it'll just be a thing. I guess we're going with OG plug. Yep, we'll do that. It's just what I ran. Yeah, no, it's fine. My comfort level is usually by having Prisma because it helps automate some of that. So if I get bad card RNG, I don't get hard fucked by it. Because that can happen, right? Like, you'll just be sitting there and just be like, oh, I just don't get Castoria's, like, Arts card until, like, the final fucking turn that I needed it. And I just go like, yeah, I'm just screwed. They're basically slingshotting. Okay. If you guys have never seen a slingshot before, essentially what the concept is that you're trying to use functionally like all of your skills on the DPS and then send them away. And the reason why is because they're going to come back, and they're probably going to come back at a point where you actually have the skills ready again. You'll be able to get a double stack of the skills. So it's almost like having 4 like support buffers buffing the unit rather than just 2. There may be some benefit to going ahead and popping this early, but it's probably fine. Okay. There's you go Mighty Chain, but you can also just go double Castoria Arts card. And double Castoria Arts card's probably more. Oh boy, that's a lot of damage. I assume I basically won't do anything without at least a MLB damage CE plus buffs on a unit. And even then, it's still, she's going to mitigate a lot of it. Okay. So again, if you guys remember your basics about Mighty Chains here too, really, really nice to kind of know how Mighty Chain works and basically realize that, you know, for instance, right there where I did Buster Quick Arts, that used to be the old good damage chain. Now with Mighty Chains, it's actually the best NP gain chain. So there is some interesting, and that can change technically depending on the unit. But like, there is some interesting things to understand about that, like, yeah, sometimes Mighty Chain doesn't work, you know, as intuitively as you'd think. It's intuitive for someone like me, but that's because I've been playing on JP with it for a long time now, and I just kind of know. Okay, try to build an P gauge on them every single turn. All right, we should be fine. You're going to take the Castoria MP. MXSSXNGNO. Thank you for the follow. You can fully ignore the ads. Yeah. Cad doesn't realize? What does Cad not realize? You want to kill the other units, Cad, for the bus? No, I know. I'm aware. This is why I was talking with Avalon about this. Like, Avalon sent me a comp, and I was trying to understand the mentality of the comp first and foremost, right? So basically what this is, we're just tanking her down for 10 turns because it's not going to be that difficult to actually deal with her. The bigger problem is going to be, oh shit, what do we do now? So the real thing I need to think about here is basically turn 10 is where we're going to rotate back for the slingshot. Which means I need to be thinking about this, that I basically should not reuse their skills if I want them to be ready, because they need to be ready by turn 11. Like, Morgan's the only one I'm actually worried about if she manages to get a hit through. The others shouldn't really do too much damage to me. I say as an alter ego shows up with my pretender being vulnerable. Actually, no, yeah, that's backwards order. Pretender does more damage to alter ego. It needs to be ready by turn 11. None of their skills are ready this turn. This is a 6-turn cooldown. This is a 5-turn cooldown. This one we can use next turn and it will be ready. None of the other skills will. So, is what it is. There's no point in using the Oberon skills here. And if I have to, I still have Lady Avalon's emergency invuln. This is going to be boring here for the next couple turns. It's kind of why I'm talking it out with you guys too, so that you guys understand what's going on and why I'm making some of the decisions that I'm making and why I'm stopping and thinking about it. Is because I'm sitting here going like, hey, yeah, this kind of matters. Did I Oberon MP? There's really no harm to it, but he's not going to deal any damage. Is the more stacks I have? Yeah, I get that. I just don't think it's going to matter too much. I think we go ahead and Oberon MP here. There's quite literally no downside to it. And I get more stacks. And like quite literally Oberon will get back to his NP. I have 70% charge. So like Oberon in the next 3 turns needs to get 30% charge on his own. He's going to get half of that just from Proto Merlin. Actually, Proto Merlin's MP charge per turn scales with her NP level. So what is it, 10%? Yeah, he'll get it automatically from Proto Merlin. So it won't matter. I won't even need to card with Oberon. There's 10% right there. Okay, I should not use any of that. I can go ahead and get away with using that. Delay all the other stuff. Cat's doing the calculated Avalon covered. Yep. It's one of the... Lady Avalon's a very whaley unit. Like, at NP1, she is okay. Like she's still good. She's still really useful. But if you have a Merlin, she's pretty comparable. When you start getting extra MP levels of her, though, it's just not fucking fair. Like, she just gets, like, really fucking strong. There's still some things I like about Merlin over her, but the fact that her MP scales as hard as it does is kind of nutty. It's such a huge temptation here to, like, just not press any of these skills. We're gonna see if we can get Castoria that crit. Nope. I was gonna say if she got the crit, she might have gotten back to 200%, but I was gonna say hit her again. When he MPs, Morgan will MP, so the sleep's gonna go through, right? The sleep is gonna go through, right? Pray for no instant death. You should be okay. We basically put Doman to sleep, so Doman doesn't get to act. And because Doman doesn't get to act, Doman goes bye-bye. Oh. That's a turn early. Avalon, you're doing it again. I'm not gonna fault Avalon for that. Other than, yes, there is a window there where this could be, like, fucked up, but I can easily deal with that. It's just like, of all the odds, it happens, right? You have Castoria ready, might as well let him go. He's supposed to die next turn. I'm basically buying time for him to eat the Morgan NP. It's just kind of spicy here this particular turn. So I can pop the skill 3 on the Avalon. That's not a problem. It's just, I'm just debating if there's something else I can do here. It's safe because I don't want Morgan insta-gimming somebody here. This is a vulnerable turn, basically. And what I'm doing here, too, is I'm also using this to get extra overcharge for Castoria. This is going to get her to 200%. That's going to allow her to basically pop off. She's going to get extra overcharge on her MP and get me another stack. So Doman goes bye-bye. Doesn't get to do anything. It's a very clever way of dealing with Doman. I actually really like that. Then we're going to taunt here. We're literally basically just going to brick Oberon so that she kills the shit out of him. And she is going to kill the shit out of him. Oh. Avalon, how many stacks did your Oberon have? Of solemn defense. 2? O'Brien removes his own buffs because of S3. Oh, that's a good point. Thank you. Yeah, I did forget that because I was sitting there and I was like, he gonna live. I was like, it's gonna complicate things. Man, that's a juicy 100% arts crit, but no, we're gonna go with Castoria here. Again, Castoria is usually the one that has a harder time. Part of that's because Proto Merlin has the mixed blood passive, so she just keeps getting charge automatically. On top of the charge she's getting automatically from Prisma, on top of the charge she's getting from her NP. So, like, yeah, she quite literally is just sitting there generating like 30% a turn, and it's fucking hilarious. Okay, so yeah, he's gonna get yeeted. Everybody else is gonna lose a stack. Thankfully, Castoria just gave everybody 3 stacks, so we should be good. Yeah. All right, now it comes in. Yep, still 2 left. Also, taunt glitch. So she didn't hit anybody else there because the first hit of her attack killed somebody that had taunt. Literally, her NP killed Proto or killed Oberon. She's gonna auto loop. I don't know what I'm doing. She's literally just gonna like going to obliterate everything here. Did we go in guns blazing? I took 30 turns. Yeah. No, Avalon has a really nice approach to this. I really like this. I probably would have just looped it and killed all the side damage dealers. Okay, so that dealt about 925. The arts crit definitely dealt a whole lot more. Oh no, she got Lady Avalon to her NP. What will I do? Ooh, this may be bad. I'm sitting here thinking, and it's like, basically, yeah, nobody else got solemn defense. It does protect Squirtoria, but granted, I probably don't need Castoria after this. He does have a guts, though. That could be problematic. Never mind. This is a good choice. I forgot. She's also going to drain 50%, isn't she? No? Maybe? Possibly? Is it just 1 HP? Sweet. Stun shouldn't work then, right? Wait, I thought stun was a mental. Okay. I don't know. I gotta go back and look at that, I guess. We'll invert it there. We'll do QB because QB is more damage. Still a Mighty Chain. Put the NP first because it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't scale with Mighty Chain. But it could be used as a lead card bonus. Easy. Easy, chat. What'd you say it was? A 14 turn? Wait a minute. Hold on. She had to go and do that. There's just the one left, right? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. All right. I did it in 14. Yeah, it's going to be 14 for me too. Wait, did that deal no damage? Or did that already pop the guts? I didn't see. Because it looked like she was back to the same health. I'm sorry. What? Why am I dealing no fucking damage? Like, even without the arts card buffs, I have so much extra attack on right now. $50,000 damage. Oh my fucking god. Like, it's easy. I'll still win, but like, that is so dumb. Yeah, it's gonna be a 15 turn then. That's so fucking stupid. $15 turn instead of 14 turn. The fact that I like cannot pop this bar. Actually, I say that like this is a 16 turn. Oh no, okay, she lost the final guts. She dies here now. We die here, all of us. Like if I don't command seal, because I don't think the cards are gonna do it. Maybe with a lucky crit. This is actually fucking stupid. Fuck that. Like, that's the type of like pettiness that really annoys me about CQ sometimes, where like that could have been a nice clean ending to the fight, but there's this extra little bit of fuck you in there that's designed to just ruin runs. And I'm like, that's so stupid to me. When in doubt, Immortal Team? Yeah. Well, that only got out of hand because I let it get out of hand. If I had known it was going to end like that, I would have just played it safe. And I would have just said, whatever, we'll take, like 17, 18 turns, and I won't care. That's the level of, like, dev pettiness that I'm just like, no, I'm good. Really just like when Lottos have a lot of CQs. This is fine. I'm okay with, like, 7 of these in a Lotto. Where I've had issues are where they start doing 14, 21, 38, and you're like, dude, what the fuck? Like, 7 is okay. Stop doing more than this. Like, nobody wants to be spending multiple days doing the CQs when there's a farming event going on. $31 is a bit much for most people. Yeah. How was Iliafest? The CQs in Iliafest are pretty good. They're very much like right on point. Europa CQ was fine, annoying with a charm. Oh, like I said, that one quite possibly we did in the worst possible way. Like, had it worked, it would have been fine, but because it didn't work, it devolved into a comp that took longer than probably any other solution we would have done for it. So, it happens, though. Again, I still don't have max bonus, but it is what it is. I'm feeling weak. I took 26 turns in that CQ. Yeah, but you probably completed it safer than I did. Don't feel bad about that. That's right, though. This is comfortable, no? No. No. It was not. You should have told me to put a curse command code on or something. That was not comfortable at all. Not in the end. Absolutely comfortable until the end, but the end was like, what the fuck? Somehow, when Morgan had no health left, she was at her most dangerous. Should have taken the AoE damage dealer. Like I said, that's what I was gonna do, and I was gonna kill off some of that stuff. Yeah, because like her actual like freaking tankiness there was kind of fucking nuts. Like, just actually ridiculous. Lore accurate, Morgan? Yeah. The dots would have led, would have had to do more than 10k damage, though? No, because there was a point where she was at 1 HP. Literally just, because dots don't get affected by damage cut. So it would have just snapped her out of existence and dealt with half that problem. Because I think she had what? She had a 1 HP guts and a 10k guts. And so we saw her at 1 HP twice, if I remember correctly. Or maybe I'm misremembering. She heals 10k before the dots do damage. Ah, that's what was going on. Okay. See, it's really funny because I'm sure a lot of you guys like look at this and you're like, oh man, Cad's stupid. How does he not realize this stuff? Most of the time I don't read the actual effects of a CQ. Because if I read the actual effects of the CQ and I sit there coming up with a comp, I can do it, but I will just trivialize the CQ. And the other problem with that is, too, it will take me a bit of time to come up with the comp. So usually for the sake of brevity for stream, I ask people for help on stuff like that. Not that I'm incapable of doing any of it myself. Like I said, like it's easy for me to look at it after the fact and go like, oh yeah, I should have done this or that. Because it's exactly like, had I sat there and I read it, I know what the solution is. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. We running this 5 card with Mabe and Percival. People were asking me to do Percy. I don't know. I am really bad about like when I'm just in the zone on a comp. I just want to keep using the comp. I don't want to like stretch things at all because reasons. There you go. You guys can see I still have some silver fruit. I have 23 of these suckers left. I have like, I don't know how many boxes to go. Let's do one more run here and see. Sorry, my brain tried to reset itself there. Thanks, it was a lot of farming. Yeah. 500? Nice. Yeah, it's always nice to hit, like, your goal. And that's why I tell you guys, like, if your goal is 500, if your goal is 1,000, if your goal is 100, if your goal is 20, who cares? As long as you hit your goal. As long as you do whatever you set out to do, you should feel good about it. Like, don't, you know, dick measure with other people. It's not worth. You definitely don't want to see what I tried for the min turn of the Morgan node until I gave up. Shit was heavy RNG. Yeah, it's not worth. Like, I actually agree to an extent. Like, your stance of just basically slingshotting that, it just made that a breeze up until that point. And doubly so for someone like me, but that's because, like I said, like I'm just sitting there and I've got like stacked Castoria and Proto, and both of them have an MLB Prisma. One of the MLB Prismas is level 100. Like, very unlikely that I was going to get carded out in any way, shape, or form. Pretty much as foolproof as it could be. You know, until the Doman turn. But that's just shenanigans at that point. So I'm at 166. I think I need to be at 171. So yeah, I'm under 10 boxes to go at this point. Because basically I have 15 boxes open. So like literally I need just less than what, 6k? No, just less than 5k. So yeah, I could probably nat AP this the rest of the event. But what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to try to hit the box goal here. And then when I do that, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of turn back around and work on my account, open my boxes, see where I land. And if I have any time left in the lotto and I feel like I need more, I have still a little bit of time to actually be able to farm. Normally, if I'm going balls to the wall and I like know my box goal is like 500 or something, I go and I hit that goal and I just stop. And I don't ever bother evaluating. Once I hit it, I'm done. But like with this one, because this is just a like guesstimation on my part and I have no idea how much I actually need for this lotto. I just set out to do 300 and I have no idea. So we're just kind of going to hit the 300 and then I'm going to evaluate from there. You need 171k for 300 boxes. Yeah, exactly. My Summer Kiara is my top support unit. Maybe someone really likes your Summer Kiara. You have like a really like strong one, like an MP5 120. Because like Summer Kiara hits hard. That's what she's always been infamous for. Her refund's not the best, but she would be able to clear nodes pretty easily. Because I don't really need the mats. Yeah, it's the same problem that I have. I need none of these materials, like at all. This is literally just a top up for my account to subsist me until the next lotto. So because of that, what I'm trying to see is instead like, one, do I have enough to take care of all the units that I like let sit by the side? And two, do I have enough to like still top up after that? So that's why I'm saying, like, I'm going to go work on those units. I'm going to level them up to the point where, like, I've gotten, as much as I can out of it. Then I'm going to see, am I still topped off? If not, I'll go top myself off. If so, I'm done at that point. Went from negative metals and homunculus to having an excess. Yep. That's really all you need to care about is advancing the account. I'm at 518 bells now, too, which is really good. Let me see, because my Chaldea has whatever I was at before this node began. I have not gone very hard on this node. So, like, I think I started this node at, like, 220 boxes. We're at, like, 200 and, like... We're somewhere north of 290. So I've gotten, like 70 boxes out of this. I'm just curious how many bells that resulted in. So I currently had 370 before starting, and I am at 518. Yeah, so I've got like a whole nother like 140 bells, 150 almost. That's not bad. Like, all things considered, that's like basically a bell every other run if I had to bet. So that's really, really good. But 954, yeah. Well, see, the thing for me is you can see, like, even without putting this in, right? So, like, if I were to go ahead and drop in the 518 that I have, I'm 200 bells over any potential need that I have. Like, I started the event at plus 50. So I've gained another 150. Like, I went from being, hey, I'm good, but this material is maybe close to, like, if I had some additional needs for this, I'd have, use, to now I could, like, literally pick up an entire another unit at, like, 72 bells per skill and still fucking have spare. Like, beyond everything I've currently projected. And that's why I'm saying, like, this is not that big of a deal to me. Like, it's nice that I get this amount to shore up, but yeah, it's nothing. I had one run where I got 4. Nice. So, for whom the bell tolls. You're looking for... Okay, chat. So I did want to react properly to the Game Awards nominees. We talked about it some yesterday, but I gotta like do this for you guys because, like, one, this keeps getting brought up, and two, this is like just a thing. Let me see if the actual Game Awards site is up properly now. I'm gonna give you guys my 2 cents. I'm also gonna vote. I gotta sign in here. Oh, that's so weird. I don't like that they did this year. So, they literally started you out with Game of the Year first. I prefer Game of the Year to be the last thing, right? So let's start at the end and let's move forward. Well, backward, I guess. Finally got the full 6 slot last night. Congrats. The Joke Awards. Yeah, I'm gonna ask you a question when we're through with all of this, because I kind of really want to see how you guys feel about something. I got an idea, and I want to see how you guys feel about it. Okay, so this one, we start out with best esports team. Now, again, there are multiple like categories here. I don't know if it'll let me open up all of them. No, I can't even open up again. Looks like I can do it like that. Yeah, okay, so that'll work. So you can see there's a ton of categories here. Just like macro level, okay? Before we really even start to vote here, I have to point out like some of this, right? Like, we have down here best esports game, best esports athlete, and best esports team. We have also in the past had best esports coach, and we have content creator of the year. This is why I say, like, there should probably be a category for, like, best modder. There should be a category for best remake. There should be a category for best DLC. The fact that these things are not here, but we have such trivial shit like best esports game, I think is kind of stupid. And, like, even if you wanted to have best esports game, I'm okay with that. The fact you have best esports athlete and team is really weird to me. Like, you could just say best esports game and that would be enough. Like, I feel like the fact that we have 3 whole fucking categories for this is kind of a travesty. And it's okay that we have it, but the fact that we don't have some of these other categories is why there is so much contention for Game of the Year this year. Why people are, like, upset about the nominees. And I agree with most of the people getting upset. They have a right to be upset, but we'll address that as we get to that. Okay, so best esports team. I did have to point this out that, for instance, when they talked about best esports game here, you can see they have Counter-Strike, Dota 2, League, Mobile Legends, Bang Bang, and Valorant. I find this kind of funny because you have League of Legends, you have Valorant, both of these are by Riot, and you have quote unquote rip-off League. Then your other two are Counter-Strike 2 and Dota 2, which are both Valve. So this is literally just a category that is dominated entirely by Valve and Riot. Like, honestly, this feels like a monetization category where like they include it because they probably got paid money by both of those. So it is what it is. For me, personally, I still think this is the case. I still think this will always be the case unless something dramatically shifts. It's League. League is the thing that always gets fucking talked about. Always. Always gets fucking talked about. Okay? So I'm going to say that that's League. I'll let it go to the next category here. Best esports athlete. I have no idea who this guy is. I know who this guy is. I don't remember what team he plays for. Looking at his jersey, it's Gen G. I don't know who this guy is. Everybody in gaming knows who this is. It shouldn't be a popularity contest. But it is. Especially when the dude basically won MVP and won the like championship for League. So yeah, it's Faker. And like honestly, Faker should probably be nominated like every fucking year. Like the fact that we've had several years where like he hasn't been is kind of wild to me. Don't worry, voters are only 10%. Yeah, okay, so let's talk about that here real quick then, right? So like you have the player's voice and stuff, and the players are able to vote. So two things. One, this amounts to fuck all. The player's voice, they've had this for a couple of years now. This is literally a popularity contest, and this actually gets brigaded. So I hate to say it, this is why it's okay that they use judges, but also at the same time, I agree with chat and anybody else that wants to think that this is just wholly like useless for the players to actually even have a voice. We don't have a fucking voice. Why? Because when it comes to the actual votes in the categories, the players are only 10%. The media is 90% of the vote. And if ever there has been a year, and there's a video I want to watch with you guys after this, if ever there has been a year where the media's opinion mattered least, it's this year. The media has been so fucking wrong on like everything. I agree. It probably should be 50-50. I think that's fairer. But the Player's Voice Award does kind of show that the reason you can't let this happen is because you'll get games, and I'm going to say it, I'm sorry for anybody that likes it, but it has to be said. You're going to get games like Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, and Zenless Zone Zero, where the developer absolutely incentivizes their players to go vote in this and gives out free shit if they do. Therefore, they will always have a leg up on any of the other voting competition. You got to sit there and think about like every single gamer that plays Call of Duty, and then ask yourself why Call of Duty never fucking wins any of this. Call of Duty has like 60 million people that play it on average. It is the biggest video game audience by far. It is not even fucking close. Okay? So why does it not win every time? Because they don't give anything away when they fucking win. They don't sit there and tell you to go vote and basically promise you goodies. So this ultimately ends up in a brigading fest where the people that have sat there and incentivized their community to go vote, like I would be willing to bet that like the MiHoYo community votes at like 80 to 90% rates on this compared to You go look at COD, and it's probably like 2%. 2% of the actual like players voting this shit, right? So at the end of the day, I think that's the difference right there. You just have a community that's been actually like rallied around it and done it. You can say like, oh, well, that's fair. That's something they should do. I think it's okay to have like a call to action for your community. Like if Baldur's Gate were like up for a vote here and they were like, hey, guys, we've been nominated, go vote for us. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's half the reason people go do it for those other games is because they're getting promised free shit. And they know even if the dev doesn't say it, because they've done it so many years, they're going to get free shit if they win. So that's why they go and do it. And that's exactly why I think like this is sort of your issue with like a democracy over a republic, with mob rule over, again, like sort of having representation. When you allow the mob to basically vote, unfortunately, the mob can be corrupted and swayed in ways that it probably shouldn't be. So it's not a true choice a lot of the time. I think if there was no stakes whatsoever and basically nobody was able to promise anything from this and you had a true just gut feeling vote, you would still have a popularity contest, but you could at least say popularity, you know, results in like numbers of players, right? Like if one game has more people playing it than the other, then in theory it's the better game. And so you can make an argument at that point. But since that's not how this works out and it's not how it's translated, this is why I do think it's the strongest argument against letting the players have total control over voting for stuff. I think you can do this sort of thing in smaller communities. You can't do it with the overall gaming community because it's too prone to, again, like corruption and misuse for things like this. So this is managed democracy. Yes, quite literally, right? And if you want to think back to it, like think back, chat, to like when you had like student president, like student council president, like voting back in like grade school and stuff. And like the kid that promised like extra shit, it's like, hey, we're going to get another vending machine. The kid has like no capacity to actually promise that, but everyone fucking votes for them because it sounds like a cool idea. It's exactly what's going on right here too. It's quite literally the same old like politician shit of like, I'm gonna promise you free shit, vote for me. So that's exactly the problem that you have with this type of stuff. But yeah, I felt the need to address that before we moved on further. I do think it's bullshit that we only count for 10%. And the reason why is because, chat, unless the judges are like dead split, since they are 90% of the vote, your 10% doesn't even get fucking looked at. They will never look at your 10%. It is all the media. They're just not even going to fucking bother looking at yours unless they're dead fucking tied. Then they'll let the players matter a little bit. It would require gacha games being completely sectioned off by themselves. Yeah, and honestly, I think that's fair. I think you could have a gacha game category, and that would be A-okay. The problem is if you had a gacha game category, the mobile game category basically dies. We'll get into that here in a minute. But so best esports athlete, like we already said, it's Faker. Best esports team now, as we're coming back to it. I have to admit, like, so if you guys remember back to the best esports game, there was Valorant, there was League, there was Mobile Legends, there was Counter-Strike, and there was Dota 2. So why then are 3 of the nominees from League? I'm sorry, I don't care about your, like, leanings and your affiliations and who you like more for League teams. These 2 are immediately disqualified. Why? They didn't win their fucking championship. So how the fuck can they win esports team of the year? I'm sorry. If you don't win, you don't get to fucking win the category. So quite literally, this is between these 3 people right here. So my complaint is, why is there not a team nominated from Mobile Legends? Why is there not a team nominated from Valorant? The fact that it's just League, Counter-Strike, and Dota is stupid here. I think this is on the judges. Like, their nominee, the panel of judges that nominate this shit, there's clear bias here. And obviously the bias is towards League, but yeah, like, again, it's T1. I'm going to vote T1 because T1's the team I actually freaking know. I have heard of Team Liquid before and stuff like that, but like, no, I'm sorry. Like, that's just ridiculous that they nominated freaking 3 League teams for that. Content Creator of the Year. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't heard of 3 of these people. I might have heard of Typical Gamer, but I don't think I have. Okay? I have not heard of any of these 3. Therefore, to me, this is between Pecora and Queso. So, chat, convince me. Convince me why Pecora deserves it. What has Pecora done this year that is different than her prior years? She met Kojima? Everyone's met Kojima. Jack shit, Pecco Mama? Yeah, no, like, I'm legitimately asking. It's not that I haven't, like, seen Pecora in the news and stuff, but, like, legitimately, can you tell me, like, what she's done that is different than the prior years? Because to me, it's just Pecora's popular, and this just feels like a popularity choice. Like, it feels like a popularity nomination where they go like, yeah, we need to like nominate a VTuber, and like Iron Mouse won it the prior year, so like let's nominate Pecora. Because like I can say Queso actually popped off this year. Like, I have heard of Queso, I have seen Queso's clips. Queso's a funny fucking dude. Like, my vote is for Queso, okay? And it's nothing against Pecco. My vote is for Queso because Queso's the one that actually popped off. Pecco's been a known quantity. So, like, if you want to vote for Pecco, that's perfectly fine. I have no problem with that. But think about how long Payne Pecco's been around. That's how long Pecora's been around. That's literally why I say, like, yes, the person that actually popped off is Queso, right? Yes. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like I said, it's nothing against Pecora. But you're going to see, I'm going to apply logic to some of these votes, and chat, you're not going to agree with me. Most anticipated game. I'm going to skip this category for right now. This is one where it's like, I feel like this is basically up there with Game of the Year. It needs to be, we need to come back to it. Best adaptation. All right, chat. This has actually been a pretty like bomb ass year for video game adaptations. Agreed? Like there's a lot going on here in this year that we can actually sit here and have like decent options this year. Right? Because I feel like in the past it's been like, oh, there's been like one. So the fact this is an actual category that's really well fleshed out this year, good job, video gaming. People are finally beginning to realize that we actually tell good fucking stories, right? Now I'm going to be honest with you guys. I haven't seen the Like a Dragon adaptation. Can anyone tell me about it? Like, obviously I know what Like a Dragon is. I've played some of the Yakuza games. I have not seen the live action adaptation. It sucked ass. Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like I heard like that it was not good, or maybe that it was like gonna have issues, but it wasn't out yet, and so I wasn't sure, right? Imagine Yakuza, but 100% serious. Right. Yeah, no, okay. So at that point, then, like, I'm not saying you couldn't do a 100% Yakuza serious story, but, like, if you do that, it's literally the same as every other, like, movie about Yakuza and every other show about Yakuza. So it's like, right? So, okay. So we're gonna eliminate that one. Knuckles. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I didn't realize this was a thing. And there's a reason why. So, y'all have to tell me, is this actually good? Just like 4 of those content creators? Yeah. It's great. I heard it was ass. Is that the one Keanu voiced? No, Keanu's voicing Shadow for Sonic 3. This is a spin-off show specifically about Knuckles, which I believe is Idris Elba is who voices Knuckles. Yeah, I'm just trying to like again, if someone in chat's like, oh my god, it's actually like the best thing, Cad, you have no idea, like that's one thing, right? But basically it seems like chat's pretty mixed on this, so I'm eliminating it. But like, yeah, all right, chat. Tomb Raider, how does chat feel about Tomb Raider and it's quote anime adaptation? I talked to people, and everyone I talked to said no, it was terrible. And it's sad, because I really like Lara Croft. If that had been good, I would have absolutely watched it. But, like, the fact that so many people said that it was, like, pandering bullshit, and it basically was not at all good, I'm good. I don't need to watch it. So, to me, we're down to the 2 that we always knew it was going to be. Arcane and Fallout. And it's absolutely Fallout. I'm sorry, Arcane fans, and there's a very fucking easy reason why it's Fallout. Arcane isn't even finished airing, and it won't be finished airing by the time these awards come out. Why the fuck is it nominated? It should be on next year's. Like, I'm sorry. It's absolutely unfinished. So yeah, if they're going back and voting for season 1, that might be a thing, but it's not, because season 1 was already on this category back in the past. So yeah, no, to me, Arcane eliminated itself. This is literally just Fallout's like the only one I can pick. Quite literally. And to be fair, Fallout's great. I love it. You guys should watch it. It's absolutely fantastic. Don't be such a stickler for the lore. Even if you are, it's still actually pretty lore like accurate. There's just people that want to quibble about certain things. They don't give a shit. Oh, I know. I'm aware these awards have no standards, but like that's why I was trying to sit there and say that. All right, best multiplayer game for outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of game genre or platform. I really dislike this because this implies that there can be MMOs nominated in this, and I just don't believe that they would. I'm going to get biased here because I've played some of these, right? I'm not a big fighting game guy, so it's not going to be Tekken. Okay? Super Mario Party Jamboree, I've heard is actually, like, really good, but, like, no, still no. So, to me, this is pretty much between these 3. I haven't played Black Ops 6. I hear Black Ops 6 is good. I also hear Black Ops 6 is mid. I'm not really sure. But to me, it gets eliminated for my consideration. If you guys like it, go for it. So it's down to these two. This is a rough one. Because I like the way that 40K Space Marine is run a little bit better than Helldivers 2. I have to penalize Helldivers 2 for some of the idiocy of their devs. That being said, I also recognize that Helldivers 2 is fixing those issues and getting a lot better. Like, again, some of my friends have been playing Helldivers quite a bit, right? Like, so it's kind of a wash in that regard. It did some stupid shit, but it's making up for its stupid shit. Whereas Warhammer hasn't really had any stupid shit. However, that game has some issues. It is not a perfect game. Particularly its multiplayer experiences. It can be difficult to play with your friends sometimes. As much as I like the polish on the game itself, they have got to do something better about being able to group up with friends, being able to queue into dungeons, or sorry, not dungeons, battlegrounds and stuff like that for PvP. I have to dock 40K for that. It's Helldivers. And I think it's Helldivers because Helldivers is just by far and away the most talked about multiplayer experience this year. It's no contest. I have not seen more discussion over any other game. So to me, it's Helldivers. I really wanted to vote 40K there, though. I really did. But it's Helldivers. Wilshire, thank you for the 39. Appreciate it. Best sports racing. Now, this is a shit category. To some people, maybe this is really, really good, right? Like, maybe people really freaking like this. But I'm gonna be real with y'all. I hate, like, all of this here. So, quite literally, I'm voting for the only thing I can vote for. And it's WWE. All of these are just cash grabs. And that's the unfortunate nature of it. But I'm literally just throwing a throwaway vote there. Best sim and strategy. Okay. Now I get to talk, like, philosophically with you guys. I will admit, Age of Mythology is apparently fucking great. It is absolutely an awesome game. It absolutely should not be here based off the fact that it is absolutely a remake. They have just sat there and gone, here is the base game, we've updated it, and we've re-released it. This is why I say there should be a remake category. We should not be seeing so many remakes nominated across the various categories here. And they're sitting there saying, like, oh, we wouldn't have enough. Yes, you fucking would. Yes, you would. You might have to dig a little deeper, but there's definitely other games out there that deserve recognition. So, I hate to say it, but no. Age of Mythology, as good as it is, it's immediately disqualified under my own personal rules of no fucking remakes. I might make one exception to that rule, and we're going to talk about it later. But oh God, just no. Like, it's nothing against Age of Mythology. It's the fact that this awards presentation is just so fucking biased and has no actual standards to it. So to me, it's between these four. I really like Manor Lords. If Manor Lords were better, it would absolutely get my vote. Unfortunately, Manor Lords on launch was bare bones as shit. It's a cool idea. It's run by one dev, but it's not going to fucking win when it's absolutely been slow as crap to get, like, the updates and stuff that it needs. So, at the end of the day, no. I think it's gone. I don't know anything about Kunitsugami. Chat, you guys would have to tell me. But I'm going to just go ahead and eliminate it because I don't think it's between that. So I think it's between Unicorn Overlord and Frostpunk 2. Now, I got offered a key for Frostpunk 2. I did not have the time when it released, so I did not bother to pick up that key. I haven't heard whether or not it's good or bad. I assume it's like, okay. However, I have heard profusely about Unicorn Overlord being great, so it wins. It wins this category by recognition. I did not play a ton of strategy games this year. Best family. Plucky Squire got nominated for several of these categories. I have no idea what it is. I've never heard of it. Princess Peach Showtime. No, I'm good. Super Mario Party Jamboree. Is this some kind of a sick joke? You want a Mario Party game to be best family? This thing destroys families. It does not bring them together. So this is between two games. This is between Legend of Zelda and Astrobot. And as much as I love The Legend of Zelda and think that this is a cool spin on it since you get to play as Zelda for once, it's Astrobot. Astrobot's actually like really fucking wholesome. And it is one of the best games this year. Like, wholeheartedly. Best fighting. All right, chat. Which one here wins? I know which one I'm choosing, but which one wins? So, I have a terrible reason for choosing what I'm about to choose. But I know a game is popular and reaches beyond the normal, the normal reach of things. When my kind of casual gamer coworker comes and talks to me for an hour about a game and how much he just fucking loves it. It is absolutely Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. This is based nothing off the gameplay and like how technical it is. This is based purely off the impact this game has had. I believe it is that one this year. Okay? I understand Tekken is apparently good. I also understand that people really like Grand Blue. I'm sorry, the arcade classic should have never been fucking nominated for the exact same reason that Age of Mythology should not have been renominated. It's a freaking remake. They took old games. It's great. I think it's awesome that they did this. It does not deserve award recognition. It should not be, quote, the best fighting game of the year, because it should have been the best fighting games of years 2 decades prior. Okay? So, yeah, again, like, no, it's had its time. It's time for it to take a back seat. This should have been a 5th game. I don't know what that game is, but it absolutely is not the collection there. Microtransaction ridden shitfest from what I heard. Yeah, I saw a lot of people really upset that this even got a nomination. I don't know anything about it, but I just saw people are upset, so I was like, I don't even have to like deal with that one. Best RPG. this is a category that I'm always going to be difficult on, chat. Because at the end of the day, I have to ask myself, what constitutes an RPG? So let's see what they say. For the best game design with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences. I like how they put this in here and they still don't nominate an MMO. So it is what it is. I'm going to say this again. I love Elden Ring. It is such an awesome game. I recommend everybody give it a shot. It may not be for you, but I recommend everybody try it out. This DLC was amazing. It absolutely deserves recognition. Practically a whole game on its own. It's not an RPG. It's an action adventure game at best. Okay? So, to me, no. It's not that it doesn't deserve recognition. It does. It's just not this category. And finally, we come to another one. So, remember how I said there's probably going to be one exception to my remake rule, chat? This isn't really an exception. Let's be frank. I'll be frank, you be frank. Okay? You can both be frank. Final Fantasy VII Remake is not a remake. We call it a remake because we, the players, wish that it was a fucking remake. We wish that it just retold the Final Fantasy VII story. It doesn't. It is a new story in and of itself. It is an alternate timeline. It is, as a result, a standalone. So I have to give them the credit where it's due that this is not a remake. I wish it were, but it's not. Okay? However, no matter how good you think this is, I'm disqualifying it. For the same reason that Arcane gets disqualified. You are reimagining and retelling a story. And you're not fucking done with it. So no, I'm not giving you critical recognition that you so crave because you're fucking milking this. And I've seen people ask me before, oh, but Cad, why aren't you giving them recognition? What, would you rather wait 10 years for them to be done to release it all at once? Yes. Yes, I would. I would rather wait 10 fucking years for them to release it all at once rather than charge us triple the cost. I understand it's more costly for them to make. I don't care. That's on Square Enix for squandering their money for years. So at the end of the day, no, I'm still not going to do it. It's absolutely worthy of this. But that's a personal vendetta for me. I'm sorry, chat. I will hold that one against it. Okay, so this now comes down to these three. I really like Dragon's Dogma, but Dragon's Dogma is like the best 7 out of 10 game that you'll play. It's really good. It's also really repetitive. It's a whiff because they could have made it into so much more. It could have been so much better. It could have been a better role-playing experience. You don't actually get to make that much in the way of choices for this game. I do really like it, but ultimately, it's not going to win Best RPG. Now we come down to these two. I have played both of these. I have not completed either. So I have to go based off of missing information and public perception. And I think there is a clear fucking winner. I think it's Metaphor. Metaphor is still getting talked about. Metaphor got nominated for Game of the Year. I mean, Like a Dragon, I believe, did as well. But like at the end of the day, this is the one that seems to be fresh on everyone's lips. Everyone fucking loves it. There is no like negative opinions about this game. Whereas at least with Infinite Wealth, having played it, thought Infinite Wealth was overly grindy this time around. And I did not complete it because of that. I need to go back and like give it another shot, but it is what it is. Best action adventure. Can somebody inform me? Anyone that has played Silent Hill 2, is this actually action adventure? Or is this just horror? Like open world horror-esque? Like, this is a legitimate question. I don't know. It's not action. It's survival horror. Okay. It feels like they maybe didn't have enough to do a horror category this year, and that's why you're seeing it nominated. But it still is immediately thrown out because it is a remake. That being said, I have heard that this is a similar situation to Final Fantasy VII. So it's like not the exact same, but it is what it is. I feel like that's an argument that's going to be made about a lot of remakes. They're going to go, it's not the exact same as the original. I'm going to go, yeah, but if it's not trying to tell a different story, if it's not actually, like if it's still trying to tell the exact same story as before, just with some additional stuff added, it's still a remake. I don't give a flying fuck about any of these games. It's fine. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. I've not played this. I've heard okay things about it. I don't know. Action adventure Astrobot's definitely a good choice here. Legend of Zelda. I've heard mixed things. I've heard from people that say that this is a really good game. I've also heard from people that said it's a little overhyped. It's not like that good. So I don't know. Cad should vote Outlaw since you enjoyed it. I will say, Star Wars Outlaws is a lot better than people gave it credit for. It is an 8 out of 10 game. Okay? It is a solid 8 out of 10 game. And I mean that. Like, so many people got caught up in various different aspects of this, myself included. Like, for instance, I will still hold against them the fact that this is locked to Ubisoft and the fact that they uglified the main character. But the game itself, it's actually pretty fun. I really did like it. I did like the story that they tried to tell. Okay? But it's an 8 out of 10. And you got a 9 out of 10 on this list. So, to me, as much as I would like to vote for this and let it get some recognition, one, it'd be a throw into the void because it won't fucking win. And two, it's between these two. Okay? Yeah, I don't think I fault anyone for voting for Zelda here. But I'm gonna vote Astrobot again. Astrobot's like sitting there, it's like a 96 or something on fucking Metacritic. Like, and I haven't played this variant. I have played the original PS5 one that they put out, and it was fun. It was really cute. It was really enjoyable. So an entire full fleshed out game like that, yeah, I can see why that's such a highly rated experience. I know people are gonna like hate it because it's Sony and stuff, but like I think it actually deserves the recognition that it deserves. Zelda will win just because there's such a great fan base for it. You'd be surprised. Like Silent Hill 2 might win this somehow. Like a little bit. This is a fucking like like kind of bullshit inclusion that I get the feeling that the judges will probably vote for. All right, best action game. This is interesting because, like, Call of Duty, I guess it really depends. Like, when you think action game, you don't normally think just a normal, like, shooter. But Helldivers is here as well. Space Marines here as well. So, like, I'm okay with Call of Duty there. It just, to me, seems like the odd one out. Stellar Blade, it's another one I didn't finish. But I do think Stellar Blade is a good game. I think it's another one of those games, just like Star Wars Outlaws, where there was a lot of, like, public discourse about this game. You had people that were hating on it because it has a hot female in a skin-tight suit. And you had a bunch of people that were enjoying it purely because of that. So I think this game gets a little bit lost in the discourse over whether or not it's okay to have sexualized characters in a video game. Which, by the way, it's absolutely okay. People that think it's not need to shut the hell up. I'm tired of, like, freaking censorship on everything. Like, I haven't finished it, but Wukong absolutely blew the socks off of, like, everybody that I talked to about it. People really enjoyed it. I don't think it's a game for everyone. I think it's a game for people that really like the story of Wukong and really like, again, action adventure type of games, right? Where, you know, kind of like God of War, kind of like Souls-like. If you like that style of game, you really probably liked Wukong. Well, it's not a Souls-like through and through. It's partially Souls-like. But it definitely, to me, a lot of how it plays, it does play like God of War. Quite a bit. I think it's Wukong. I think it needs to be Wukong. Best VR AR. See, to me, this is another kind of throwaway category. I'm not sure that this really has, like, that big of a pull. But I do recognize that in the same way that we should be recognizing DLC, that we should be recognizing remakes, we should also be recognizing virtual reality and augmented reality games. Why? If you want the industry to keep making these games so that the people that do have VR headsets and stuff can play, you know, with that VR headset, if you want that technology to advance, you should reward it. You should have this category. So I'm okay with it. Like, I'm more of the stance that they should expand the categories rather than contract them. Okay? That being said, I don't have a VR headset, chat. I don't play any of these. I heard good things about Asgard's Wrath. I haven't heard anything about Arkham Shadow, but it's Batman and it's in the Arkham universe, so I assume it's probably okay. And then Metro Awakening seems like a really cool thing. I had no idea it existed. Did you just skip it? Nah. Gonna vote Asgard's Wrath because that's the one that I've actually heard about. That's apparently pretty good. So, Metro, I heard good things about. Oh, good. Best mobile game. Two of these self-eliminate. Can you guess which ones, chat? I know I'm biased on this. They self-eliminate. And the reason why they self-eliminate to me, they are not really meant to be mobile games. They sure as heck make them playable on mobile. They sure as heck want you to play it on a PC. So, to me, I think it's probably between these. Now, I gotta give credit where credit's due. They managed to pick up on this. This is a recent pop-off. But this is where, again, Jeff Keighley is a corrupt, maniacal bastard. Because this would never have gotten nominated if not for probably some, shoulder rubbing from Nintendo. And that's why it's Balatro. If you don't know about Balatro, look into Balatro, chat. Best debut indie game. Oh. I never heard about Balatro into these nominations. Apparently it's good. Look into Balatro, chat. So, Plucky Squire, it's getting eliminated because, again, I had not even fucking heard about it prior to the nomination. Maybe it's really good, but it's not going to get my vote because of that. I have, however, heard of all four of these. Now, Balatro is up for Game of the Year. So perhaps it should be Balatro, because none of the other ones here are. But, in fairness, we did vote Balatro on the best mobile game category. So is it truly the best indie game this year? Manor Lords, again, I would love for this to be my vote. I was really excited for this. I was really hoping for it. If you guys remember, I even played, I believe, a little bit there on stream with you guys when it came out. But nope. Nope. Pacific Drive, I've actually heard and seen some really good things about. I've been curious as to whether or not I would pick it up myself at some point. But I just haven't, again, like, none of my schedule has really worked out in a way that would allow me to try it, so. But it's probably pretty good. I have nephews all over Manor Lords, yeah. Like I said, I'm waiting for it to get a little bit better before they do that. To me, it still needs a shit ton of work. It's still, like, Manor Lords is basically, like, if 1.0 is your game's launch, Manor Lords is into, like, 0.5 state. It's, like, halfway there. So that's why, like, I don't want to give it the recognition. I think, honestly, as cool of a concept as it'll be in the end, as really fun of a game as it'll be in the end, it is half of a game. And because of that, I don't want it to win an award here. I'm going to give it to Animal Well. And I'm going to give it to Animal Well because this game came out of nowhere. Nobody thought it was going to be good. It was partially produced by Donkey. Everybody thought Donkey was full of shit. And this game actually, like, was really freaking good, apparently. So it's going to get the vote there for me on that one. Best independent game. I have never heard of UFO 50. I have never heard of Neva. I have never heard of Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. So we're right back. And this one's going to Balatro. Neva's a great game by the same dev as Grease. Okay. Actually, I feel like I maybe did see a preview for that. Do I need to know who Donkey is? Video game Donkey. Best community support. I would love if somebody could go back through, like, the past, because I think this is the 10-year anniversary. If someone could go back through and see just how many times Fortnite has been nominated for this award. I think it's been every fucking year. And that's exactly why Fortnite self-eliminates for pure corruption. In the same way that if I saw Genshin Impact in Mobile Game of the Year, I would have purely eliminated it for corruption because it had to be a payoff. Okay? Final Fantasy XIV has been here and won multiple times, I believe. And it absolutely has not, like, done very much this year. It had a new expansion, but I can't say that it's, like, done anything truly outstanding or anything like that. And apparently the expansion is at least somewhat mixed in terms of its reception. No. No Final Fantasy. I feel really bad for Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 absolutely should have won this award. But they got hard fucked by Sony. And even if we take out the Sony issue, what really freaking pissed people off was the fact that they kept nerfing weapons. And the CEO himself had to resign as CEO and take over game balance because the freaking devs were just doing it so wrong that they were losing players. So no, unfortunately, while they were doing such an amazing job of community support in the beginning, they screwed the pooch. They lost this award. They could have won it, but they lost it. Why nerf a game that had no PvP? This was everyone's argument. All right, so you're down to 2. Now, I'm going to give credit where credit's due. One Man's Lie, aka No Man's Sky, was a horrific, terrible existence of a game on its launch. It absolutely was the epitome of why you should not just believe devs at their word. Because all it takes is one dude to say something that sounds really good, and if you believe him, you buy the game and you end up regretting it. However, if the game gets a 0 out of 10 for being One Man's Lie, since that point, they have done nothing but put their nose down and release update after update after update after update. None of it paid. None of it, like all of it is free. It is just constant community support. Is it in their interest? Yes, it absolutely generates game sales for them. They get seen in a more positive light. So it's a good thing for them to do. But I have to give credit where credit's due. They could have simply moved on to their next game, which now they are developing their next game. And I'm going to tell every single one of you in the audience, do not fucking pre-order that game. Do not. Do not believe Sean Murray. We all know he likes to talk out of his ass. So do not buy Hello Games' next game until you read actual reviews and see people that actually get their hands on it. Okay? Because that is a dev issue. He is going to say things that sound amazing. Don't fucking buy it. Don't trust him. It is absolutely, though, unequivocally Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 handled ongoing development and patches in a way that I have never seen any other developer do. They, in the time it took Cyberpunk and Starfield to release one patch to either of their relatively broken release games, Baldur's Gate 3 had released like 50 patches in that time. Baldur's Gate 3 pumped updates to the game out. And they did it all basically for the community. It absolutely deserves recognition. This is a easy choice in my mind. I do believe that No Man's Sky should get some recognition, but they're still getting that heavy discount for the way the game originally launched. So when I have a game with a lot of controversy and a game with basically none, it's going here. The next game would have been burnt into nothing without them fixing. That's very true. Best ongoing. I mean, we can say it's a testament that this is still around, right? Like, but no, this has also been nominated like every fucking year. Again, the fact that Final Fantasy, like I said, this expansion was not the greatest. So we're down to quite literally these three. Now, chat. Who wins this? Diablo should be disqualified? I agree. Diablo 4 should have absolutely, unequivocally never been fucking nominated. I'm not going to say that the developers haven't done a lot of work. I think they are. They gotta cook a little bit longer. They have absolutely still been stepping in it and doing weird stuff. They've done some stuff that the community likes. They've done some stuff that the community hates. So at the end of the day, it's still a really mixed bag. Okay? Now you're down to 2. Destiny 2 auto eliminates. It disqualifies itself. It's not even up for consideration. Why? They literally have tried to destroy this game. Like, it got to a point where we're not even sure if Bungie is going to stay open. We're not sure if they're going to be acquired by Sony completely, because basically the state of this game is such a weird point. People apparently liked the final shape, but at the end of the day, no, it does not win Best Ongoing. So Helldivers 2 wins this. It is a flawed game, but it quite literally wins because while it is flawed and it has had controversy, it is turning that corner. It is getting better. The game is fun for people to play again, and I know this because people are playing it again. I have seen people go back and actually do the Helldivers dailies. So yes, it wins by default, but it also is deserving of this win. Because it's not going to win any of the other categories. Don't let these other ones win. They're not fucking deserving of it this year. Sony owns them already. They're not closely held. Sony is going to closely hold them. Games for Impact. I personally feel like this is a lot of what's wrong with gaming. I don't mind the thought-provoking part. I do not like this, because I believe this is quite a bit of politicking. No matter how you handle it. Thought-provoking is one thing. Like, for instance, if Games for Impact included something like Detroit Become Human, I would agree with that. That is a thought-provoking game, right? That makes you consider what it means to be human. Okay? This is nothing but social grandstanding. This is nothing but agenda pushing. I don't like this. Some people may like this. I do not like this in my video games. Okay? So it's up to other people for how they want to handle this. But I'm going to say this is a thought-provoking game. I'm going to say this is also a good indie game. I do not know of these. This, like I said, I don't really know of it, but people are telling me it's good. Life is Strange is absolutely the pro-social one. I've heard people before that have told me that it's really good. I've heard people that have told me it's drivel. So it is what it is. At least Dustborn wasn't nominated. I think it's because Dustborn got such bad reviews that they just went like, yeah, we can't nominate this. Pushing a message is stupid, right? This is a tough category for me. I think there's potentially 3 votes here. 3 that I could vote for. Neva, Senua Saga, and Tales of Zao. Out of these 3, the one I heard that got talked about the most and is a sequel of a critically acclaimed game is Senua Saga. So I'm going to give it to that one. Especially because I feel like some people are going to vote for that one as well so that the studio doesn't get closed down. Innovation and accessibility. Oh boy, this is such a crap category. And let me explain to you why. This is an amazing thing. This absolutely, far more than games for impact, should be a thing. We should be trying to make video games actually more accessible to more people around the world, to more people with disabilities, to more people that basically have a hard time and difficult time playing video games. So why am I giving this category shit? Can anyone please explain to me what any of these 5 games did to improve accessibility? I don't know. It doesn't tell you. I have no idea why they are nominated. There is no example given for what the innovation is that they have done. I know at least for like one of the years, they talked about how, for instance, for God of War, that they had added a new colorblind mode that actually helped colorblind people process it depending on their stuff. And it was an innovative version of it. It wasn't your typical colorblind mode. So that was a cool thing that they did. That was worthy of recognition. But I would like to know what each one of these did. Give me a blurb for what the innovation is so that I can make a conscientious choice here. Because I have no fucking clue. I think all of these are fucking terrible. Based purely off this. So, out of everything, and it's probably a travesty, I'm gonna give it to Outlaws. It's not gonna win, but it's a throwaway vote because I have no idea what any of these did. None whatsoever. Best performance. So, by the way, chat, remember the protagonist from Star Wars Outlaws? This is her. And it is modeled after her. Now, I can show you this. Oh my God, why did that close? Oh, that's why that closed. Sorry, I had to find the actual sauce. I could show you this. This is like... Yeah, you will notice there's a cleft chin here, and there is no cleft chin here. And this is a face scan, okay? I want to be clear. Like, they face scanned her and did this. So you know they fucked with this. You know they fucked with this. Okay? But to be fair, the character does not always look that bad. Okay? The character does not always look that bad. Let's see if I can get a good version of this. That's pixelated as all hell. Okay, this is a little bit better. Okay? So, like, it's not always that bad. But the reason I'm giving this one shit, it's not a, oh, she's so hot. It's, they literally face scanned her and used her as the basis for the character. And they fundamentally changed how this character fucking looks. And that's my biggest issue with it. They absolutely tried to, okay? So, awarded to an individual for voice acting, motion, and or performance capture. So, Neil Newbon won this last year. He was Astarion in Baldur's Gate 3, and he absolutely deserved it. I do find it really stupid that, again, they do not tell you what character. I agree with chat. This is another instance where they need more info. I believe, chat, this is this Tifa or is this Aerith? I think this is Aerith. It is Aerith? Okay. I've heard that he's really good. I could disqualify this for remake reasons. I could also disqualify this for remake reasons. I unfortunately will not vote for this. I do think she did a good job, but I am not voting for this purely because there is no way, shape, or form that they should get away with how they butchered this character. And that sucks, because who this hurts is it hurts the VA. But, like, they should absolutely not get anything for that. So because Outlaws is out, I'm not going to eliminate the others, because I'm not going to vote for Life is Strange. Because at that point, you literally default to Senua's Saga. Okay? And I'm going to be real with you, Senua's Saga is probably not going to win this. So I'm going to just give it to Final Fantasy. I know it is what it is, but I think that's going to be my exception. I'll finally give them something there. Best audio design. Remake. I really like Final Fantasy VII Remake's music, but let's be real, a lot of it is based off the original fucking soundtrack. Okay? No. I literally see this get nominated every fucking year. A Call of Duty game gets nominated for best audio design every fucking year. And I'm gonna be real with you, it reuses 90% of the sounds. So no, it's not going to fucking do it, right? It isn't the musical score though. Yeah, I'm aware. Like, at that point, I'm going to say this. Astrobot's going to win it for me. Astrobot was going to win anyways, though. Because Astrobot, if you have played it, is an experience. It is an audio experience. Yes, it does use the sound from some of the other games that it's pulling from, but it is an audio experience. Silent Hill does make it feel creepy. Yeah, it's fine. If you guys want to vote for another one on this one, I'm not going to hold you against that, right? Like, I think it's perfectly okay. Best score in music. This one's definitely getting eliminated for that. I do think Silent Hill's probably a little bit more up there. Stellar Blade. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Stellar Blade is discount Nier Automata. Why do I say that, by the way? Chat, can anyone tell me why I say that Stellar Blade's music soundtrack is discount Nier Automata? If you know, you know. Because they have the same team except for the head. Exactly. They literally went and got the same singer and the same composer that worked on Nier Automata. So no, I'm not giving them the critical acclaim for that one. In the same way that I wouldn't give anyone else the copycats, right? Like, it doesn't mean that the composer didn't do work. He did. But it's pretty clear that they were just trying to do Korean Nier Automata. And for that, I got to give them some shit. Do something original on your own. I did really like the music in it, but no. It's Metaphor. Metaphor absolutely sweeps this. Like I said, I think a lot of people will vote for Final Fantasy VII purely due to the nostalgia kick. Final Fantasy VII has some amazing music, but again, it should have won Best Soundtrack when Final Fantasy VII came out. Best Art Direction. This is tough. This is, out of all the categories that, like, Elden Ring is nominated in, I feel like this one, it's pretty deserving, right? Like, I do like its art direction for the DLC. But it still is largely pulling from the base game. It definitely has some new stuff, but I do feel like that grim dark aesthetic that the base game has, that's tempered by, holy light, this is something that is just played to, more of an extreme in the DLC. Okay? So, like, I'm giving it verbal credit here, but I'm not voting for it. And again, part of the reason why deserves its own category as a DLC. It deserves that recognition. This is tough. This is actually probably the toughest. I'm not going to vote Neva. Neva is definitely a game that is, like, it's here because it is artistic. But I'm not going to vote Neva purely because I think this is just a hard fucking category. So, to me, it's between these three. And these are three very different styles. Like, you can choose any one of these. This is... I'm going to be real with you, chat. This might be the most competitive category. All 5 of these deserve to be here. All 5 of these are good in their own right. Each one is unique and awesome at what it did. Okay? Astrobot is building off the style it established. Persona is the style that Metaphor is building off of. Black Myth Wukong is the only one that, like, it's kind of coming out of nowhere. I do believe it's somewhat reminiscent of, like, the hyper-realistic graphics that you'll see with, like, the Souls games. So I think that's maybe where it's pulling from for some of it. But it's the first offering by the company, and it is absolutely doing it justice. And it is doing it in a unique way that is, again, unique to the Wukong, like mythos, right? And so, as a result of me saying this, I feel obligated to vote for Metaphor, because I gotta be honest, that fucking art style is just slick. It is. I have to give Wukong credit, but in terms of pure art, I really just like the way Persona handles its art style. And Metaphor at that. Because Metaphor is literally their interpretation of their style applied into this, like, Renaissance medieval aesthetic, and I think it's just really fucking cool. So it's bias here, but it's 100% like deserved. Cat hates trying to confirm. Sorry. Best narrative. I really wish that I had finished Infinite Wealth, because I did like the story of it, at least to the point that I had played it. Like, I feel like I'm not doing it justice by the fact that I haven't finished it. However, I can safely say that even if this were not eliminated due to it being a remake, I would still not vote for it, because I do not like the changes that they keep making to these games. I have not played Cinema Saga. It'll probably get quite a bit of votes because it is a very narrative-driven experience, but I'm not voting it. And so, as a result, because it's difficult for me to vote for Infinite Wealth, because I haven't finished it, it comes down to two. It comes down to Metaphor and Silent Hill. I'm going for Metaphor. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to fault someone for not choosing that and going for Silent Hill. Like I said, I know it feels like I'm being harsh on these like remakes and remasters and basically their inclusion into these categories. I do believe that they deserve recognition. However, it's getting too much. It's profuse. Best game direction. Also, chat, song request is available. I don't know if you guys are able to do it or not, but it's just playing my stuff now. Just screams were pushing a message to me, and I'm immediately turned off. It's less pushing a message. Cinema Saga is more of like, so have you ever like consumed any sort of like media where you're on like a spirit journey? Because that's kind of what Cinema Saga is. It's a looking into the depths of the human psyche and the, like, both the good and the bad of that, like the terrors that can be there, right? It's kind of like a journey within is what they're trying to do. It's less of a, like, them trying to push a message and more of them just trying to, like, make you think critically. But yes, it does not have a lot of gameplay, which is one of its biggest criticisms. Best game direction, awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. Man, this is tough. That eliminates itself. Unfortunately, no one's going to like me for this, but that eliminates itself. So we're down to the usual suspects. This one's going to Black Myth Wukong. And the reason why it's going to Black Myth Wukong is because this is their first fucking offering. They did an amazing job for a group that has never once released a game prior to this. Game Science did an amazing job for an initial offering. All right, so this is Game of the Year again. We have two categories that we have not voted: Game of the Year and Most Anticipated Game. I agree with everybody that has issue with the nomination for Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree for Game of the Year. I cannot, in good conscience, allow this to be voted for Game of the Year. Like, I have to say something about it too. This is bullshit. Elden Ring won Game of the Year already. It already has that honor. It is goated as one of the best games of all time. It may not be, to some people, the best game of all time, but it deserves recognition. And when one of the best games of all time got one of the best DLCs ever, at least in terms of the quality of content and the amount of content that it added, I disagreed with a lot of their balance for the DLC, but I will acknowledge that it is a huge body of work and it is worthy of that attention. The fact that it is nominated here speaks volumes for it as a DLC. But it is a travesty that it was nominated. It absolutely cost certain other things from being nominated. For instance, there is no Helldivers 2 here. There is no Pal World. There is no Silent Hill, even though I don't think that it should be added. In the same way that I don't think that Final Fantasy VII should be added here. But Final Fantasy VII is here. So the fact that this got nominated over some of the other things that deserved the recognition is sad to me. No Grand Blue Relink? Yep. No Tekken 8? There are plenty of things, but I agree. I agree with Avalon. If I can't play the base game, if I can't play Shadow of the Erd Tree without playing the base game, this is not Game of the Year. It is absolutely, unequivocally DLC of the Year. It wins it handedly. There is nothing that even remotely approaches it. But it is not Game of the Year. It is half of a game. So, as much as people want this to maybe win, bullshit. Shouldn't be here. Give it its own category. Give it something where it can win awards and get that recognition. I'm okay with its inclusion into some of the other categories to an extent. But Game of the Year, absolutely not something that should happen. This would also, if it wins, make Elden Ring the first game to ever win Game of the Year ever in any fucking award multiple times. I don't mean the Game Awards, chat. I mean winning Game of the Year in the Game Awards and several of the other awards programs that are out there. There has never been a game, to my knowledge, in any of those that has ever won Game of the Year twice. Not just for the Game Awards, literally for any other Game of the Year granting thing. The fact that this is nominated is pure corruption on behalf of Jeff Keighley. Now, he said before they announced the Game of the Year nominees that he was not on the committee that selected these. Why did he say that? Sigmund Freud would have a field day with that. The fact that he had to make that statement before they announced these means he is guilty as all fuck. Sure, he wasn't on the committee that selected these. He just selected the fucking committee and told them what they could and they couldn't nominate. For instance, you will notice Palworld is not nominated for any fucking award. Why? Because it's getting blackballed. In the same way that Hogwarts Legacy did before. Is it worthy of winning? No, I don't know. But it's clear censorship. So you know that there is already some underhandedness going on with this bullshit. It's easy to connect the dots. It's easy to see how something like this ends up here. And they're going to throw their hands up and they're going to smile their toothy smiles and they're going to pretend like they aren't the reason that this ended up here. And they're absolutely the fucking reason that it ended up here. Okay? FromSoft is a great company. FromSoft has won a crap ton of awards. Should not be nominated for Game of the Year again. This is ridiculous. Okay? And I hate to say it, FromSoft has been nominated. I believe FromSoft has been nominated every single year, going back for like 3 or 4 years now. Chat, you'd have to correct me. But like, it's getting kind of dumb. So, regardless of how good this is, it self-eliminates. It cannot be allowed to win this. And if this does win, oh boy, is Jeff Keighley going to bite off something that he cannot chew. People will sit here and they will defend it to the death. No one will give the Game Awards any credibility if this wins. Any. Okay? They already are on thin ice with some of the other shit they've pulled over the years. That will be the final nail in the coffin. And he thinks it won't be. It fucking will be. It is still less offensive than The Last of Us 2 winning the year that it did. No, this is more offensive. I hate to say it, chat. I fucking hated that The Last of Us 2 won that year. But The Last of Us 2 was at least a fucking game. And not a DLC. Okay? This, if it wins, it literally means that your Game of the Year is not a game. Okay? And I want you to think about that. A DLC has won Game of the Year before, it's not that big of a deal. What? When has a DLC won Game of the Year before? This is a big deal. This has never happened. Ever. Blood and Wine was the closest. It was. And Blood and Wine also should never have been nominated. People said this wasn't the first time it's been nominated. And it's funny because I was talking about this with some of my friends and they were like, oh, no, this has been a thing. And I was like, yeah, that doesn't make it not stupid. Just because it's happened before doesn't mean it's not a bad thing. Right? This should not ever occur. Ever. Okay? Because if this is the case, why the fuck do we release new games? Why do we take those risks? when literally all you have to do is be the big AAA dev, get your game of the year, and then just keep releasing DLC for it. Chat, imagine if all of Skyrim's DLCs kept winning game of the fucking year. If every single time they got nominated and they won the popularity contest. That's a problem. And that is what you will have in the games industry if shit like this actually occurs. Okay? It was obviously bad enough that it kept getting milked. But if it starts winning game of the year, holy crap. Multiple times that. Yeah, I agree. If it wins game of the year, why bother, right? It's dumb. Exactly. There should be 2 rules here. The first rule, you must be a game. Rule number 2, you must be released in current year. End of story. If these 2 things are not true, you should not be nominated for this list. How many times would GTA 5 have been nominated for Game of the Year? Exactly. Like, chat. Here is Baldur's Gate 3 right now. And within its 24-hour peak, 73,000 players still. This beats most current games. Most. Okay? Why should Baldur's Gate 3 not be nominated for Game of the Year again this year? It's still got staying power, even into this year. That's the issue. Okay? We cannot have things keep getting nominated over and over and over and over and over again. That's the reason why this is a problem. It's okay if you disagree with me. I do want to say that. I know I'm getting testy here, but like, it's absolutely okay if you disagree with me. But in my opinion, this is the line that cannot be crossed. You absolutely can never cross this line. Right? Reminder, Veilgod caused a spike in Baldur's Gate 3 players? I'm sure it did. So, between all of these, like I said, I a little bit understand Final Fantasy VII. It's at least a new and unique story. To a degree, it is one of the games this year. Philosophically, I disagree with it. I think these are your Game of the Year nominees right here. I think it's these 4. And go with Astrobot. I believe out of all of these, Astrobot actually has the highest Metascore. But again, Metascore is dictated by, professional reviewers, so the media. It's a good game. It really is. Just from everything I've seen of it. Balatro, again, as Chad has pointed out, is a a deck builder game with poker cards. It is apparently absurdly fun. It is developed by one guy. It is insanely addicting from everybody that I hear. And people have lost like hundreds, if not thousands of hours to it. The Monkey game is Game Science's first game. It is a unique reinterpretation and reimagining of the myth of Wukong. And it's pretty cool because of that. And Metaphor is a unique spin on the typical Persona format. Each one of these games is deserving of their recognition. But as much as I would like to vote for Metaphor, it is Wukong. Wukong is the game that pumped the most numbers out of these. It is the game that absolutely popped off. It is the monkey. So for me personally, it's probably a personal vote for Metaphor, but I'm going to sit here and say, yes, it is Black Myth Wukong. Out of these, at least. We return to monkey. Yep. All right. Most anticipated game. Fuck. I'm gonna be honest. You guys might dislike me again for this. There is one here that auto eliminates. This is an excuse to bring Kojima back up on stage. Death Stranding 2 has some fans. It is not nearly as popular as any of the remaining four. Okay? That being said, as cool as Metroid Prime is, let's be honest, chat, we're not even sure Metroid Prime is coming out next year. It has been fraught with issues. And yes, I do agree, it is niche. Probably too niche to win. It is a Metroidvania. Although in 3D form, I assume. Each of these three is big. Neither is GTA 6. You're not wrong, okay? I can't argue with that. I keep making jokes. Every single time Prophet brings up Grand Theft Auto 6, I keep being like, oh, you think it's coming out next year? That's great. But let's be honest. I fucking love Ghost of Yotei. Ghost of Tsushima was amazing. Should have won Game of the Year. It's absolutely highly anticipated. But not as high as the other two. Now, Monster Hunter Wilds. Is going to be it's going to be the Elden Ring of Monster Hunter. It's going to be the game that really pops off because so many people have heard such great things about Monster Hunter. So many people have been wanting to get into Monster Hunter. And there will be a new game finally that is available simultaneously on all platforms. That's going to make it big. Okay? World did not release simultaneously. If you remember, it had, I think, a 6-month delay before it came to PC. Yeah, and crossplay. So Wilds is going to be big. So much so that I keep chuckling at everything else trying to come out in February next year. It's going to get crushed by Wilds. Okay? But My vote is for Wilds. But we all know who's going to fucking win this category, chat. As awesome as Monster Hunter is, there is nothing even in the same galaxy as Grand Theft Auto 6. Grand Theft Auto 6 is like Call of Duty level, but then you imagine, what if they hadn't been releasing a Call of Duty game every year, and instead it had been 10 years since the last one? That's Grand Theft Auto 6. Okay? That's Grand Theft Auto 6. It is absolutely sweeping this. I'm voting for Monster Hunter because it is my most anticipated. But it is Grand Theft Auto 6. That will win that category. Okay? And that is your Game Awards. The correct answer is Wilds. I'm voting for Wilds, but you guys don't have to. Again, the player's voice stuff, the voting for this for Game of the Year will open up on December 2nd, which kind of a shit date because everyone's going to be distracted by like Cyber Monday and Black Friday and all that stuff. Correct answer is Prime 4. We waited the longest. We deserve it. Like I said, I honestly, I am hyped for every single one of these games except Death Stranding. And I mostly because I did not really care for Death Stranding's gameplay. Okay? And, well, also the entire 3-hour infinite loop ending scene that you got caught in because Kojima was kind of an asshole with how he did the ending credits. And I like Kojima, but dear God, Death Stranding pissed me off. Okay? So I'm hyped for every single one of these. I will buy every single one of these 4. Okay? I will buy every single one of these 4, without a doubt. Like, I am stoked that we have this many games that I am excited for. You got it for Norman Reedus? That's it? Yeah. Now, chat. I have a question for you all. Do you feel like the Game Awards is fair? Okay. So, like, and I'm not trying to, like, pick you out here, okay? But Phoenix, you're the only person that didn't say no. Okay? The reason I'm pointing this out is it is clear that people do not have faith in this system. That this system is bad. Okay? Regardless of how the system is operated, and again, the fact that some people may feel like it is okay, it is clear that the vast majority of people do not feel like this system is good. It treats us like morons. I agree. So, chat. How would you feel if we did our own game awards. And it's 100% you guys. Like a fan-run game awards. Yep. We'll let you guys pick the categories. We'll let you guys do the nominations. And then we'll put it to a blind vote. I feel like I kind of want to do this. Because for me personally, I love video games. I love talking about video games. I love covering the news for video games. That's why we have the Gaming News channel. And more than just playing FGO, I love to play variety games. And I fucking hate the Game Awards at this point. Like, I like that there is a more public award system for video games. But this system is shit. It's about as shit as it can be at this point. 75% of the show is ads. Yeah. Yeah. Games CAD should play sometime. No, like seriously, like actual categories, right? So like I talked about the potential for having like, you know, again, like a category for like mods, a category for DLC, right? And basically if there's not enough things nominated, we just don't have the category. Plain and simple. And the restriction would be 2024. And there's a reason why I'm saying this, chat. Why the fuck do we have the Game Awards? Late November, early December. When Stalker 2 is coming out literally tomorrow. This game's going to get hosed. It's not going to get nominated next year. Nothing in that gap released from basically the time these nominations are revealed to the beginning of next year ever wins anything. Because the Game Awards are the Game Awards for 11 months. Awards should always be after the new year. I agree. Why the fuck are we giving out awards before the year has ended? And it's fine to say, yeah, hey, let's run it. Let's run it from, 10/31, as Bob's saying. Sorry, 11/1 to 10/31, right? Like, why don't we do that? Okay, that's fine. My issue with the Game Awards is that they don't do this. They claim they do this, but nothing that ever comes out after this point gets any recognition. RimWorld should be nominated. It just had a DLC this year. It's super fun. Yeah. And you know what, chat? You guys can come get your friends to fucking vote in this too. I don't care if you brigade my fucking awards show. Like, quite literally, if you have friends that also have their opinions, they can come vote in it too. Right? I think that's cool. We could have a fucking best gotcha game award. We could have a fucking, I don't know, right? Like anything else you guys want. We could have a best VTuber category. We can have a best content creator, a best flesh tuber category. Okay? And you guys can do all of that. And I will literally say you cannot vote for me in any of that. It has to be someone else. The VTuber fans got activated to vote for Pecco? Yeah, they absolutely did. 8 minutes until Castoria. Good luck. Best fishing minigame? Yeah, that'd be a fun category. As long as there's enough fishing minigames released in the current year. But I think this is something we can do. And I want to sit down and I want to talk with the mods about how we can do something like this. Because I think this would be a really fun community thing. And then fuck the Game Awards. We can watch it. We can laugh at it when it comes out. But like, the Game Awards don't have to be our Game Awards. We can have our own Game Awards with blackjack and hookers. Okay? And maybe gotcha. There'd have to be a nomination limit or it might get way too crazy. Yeah, I think what we'd do is we would do some sort of like write-in form where you could maybe get like, I don't know, like, I don't know, maybe like up to like 10 nominations, right? The Explodies? Best gotcha streamer will be a controversial category. Like I said, we can work on the specifics. Just for the record, fair just means acceptable. Was there weird stuff? Yeah, no, it's all cool, right? Like I said, I was not meaning to like solo you out as like, how dare you disagree with the rest? Just so much as I was pointing out that you were the only one that I saw that did, right? So at that point, it was just a flood of people that were constantly being like, no, I don't feel like this is fair, right? And that's the point that I was trying to make was, look, it is pretty clear that people have lost faith in the Game Awards to accurately represent what they feel like should win, right? Not that like, oh man, it was a popularity contest and we lost. No, like they feel like they're not even getting their voice heard at all because the things that they think should be nominated are not even fucking nominated, right? I'm not going to say that people won't like again, even if I like do this and we come up with our own awards, people are probably gonna have issues with some of it. You can never please everybody. But there's a difference between pleasing everybody and pleasing a majority. And it's pretty clear that the Game Awards are not pleasing a majority. Right? Like they are displeasing the majority. This is quite literally a Jeff Keighley needs to make money award. And we can even do some meme categories if you guys want. Like, I have no problem with that. If you guys have a fun idea for a category, write that down. And like when we ask for you guys for the categories, we can kind of come up with it, right? I'll be happy as long as 90% of the decision isn't just like faceless overseers. Right. Yeah, I agree. Right? But didn't they just add best DLC and make best remake a category instead of allowing them game of the year? This is what everyone's been saying. And so Jeff Keighley, once these awards are done, is going to ask people, hey, how'd you guys feel about this year's Game Awards and what should we change? And everyone's going to say that. Everyone's going to say, why the fuck was this nominated? Why is there not just a category for it? And then Jeff Keighley's going to go, huh? Can we have the make Jeff frown category? Yeah. Best DLC should have been its own category 10 plus years ago. I think it's because DLC has always been a very contentious topic. Like, if you think back, right, like you had shit like the fucking horse armor where people were like, oh man, this is so scummy. So DLC has long been an issue that gamers just don't freaking like. And I think that's why it's been kind of kept off. But the reality is we don't have like expansions anymore. Like we don't get proper like increases to games. And that's what Shadow of the Erdtree is. It is less of a DLC and more of an expansion. But we don't get those anymore. So that's why, to me, should get that nomination. And you know what, chat? Let me see here real quick. Oh, Phantom Liberty came out last year. Okay, I wanted to see. I was like, oh man, we almost had two. Like, Moog beat the allegations, yeah. Best game that's been snuffed? Oh, you mean like game that's been shut down? We could also, so instead of like having games for Impact, we could also have something like worst DEI game. you could have like biggest flop, right? Where it's like, oh man, like freaking Golem, like best flop or like worst game would have been very difficult last year. There were so freaking many. So like, yeah, I feel like we can come up with some fun, like, obviously here's the best game, and then like here's some of the like funnier, like memeier categories. And I feel like we can do that. Games you were hyped that got canned before release, yeah. But again, like the rule needs to be, it needs to occur in 2024, right? Like that needs to be how we do this. So that there's none of this like, oh, hey, you remember this? It was back in 2023. So like that's something that we'll have to look at. Like one, we'll ask you guys to stick to this, and two, we'll have to look at it on our own end, right? Best worst game and actual worst game. Yeah. Best game that will probably never come out, Grand Theft Auto 6. Would the award be a golden pancake or the golden roadkill for biggest flop? I don't know. But it's definitely something I would like to do with you guys. I think this is going to be a fun community thing. And even if we don't get a lot of votes, it is what it is. I don't care. It's all about having fun with this. It's all about like getting our voice heard, right? And basically coming up with some sort of alternative to the shit system. So that we actually, like, even if it is just a popularity contest in the end, we at least end up with something better. Don't worry, guys, Metroid 4 is coming out. Sure, yeah. Which do you think will come out first, chat? Metroid 4 or Metroid 5? But yeah, we'd have to come up with something for the award. Okay, chat. I'm gonna end it here. It is 11 o'clock. Let me see who all is on. Well, we can give some love to. Okay, I see Mr. Gachaguru is on. I'm going to send you over to Musaki. He is on doing some Nikkei. Thank you for stream. Yep, no problem. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'd also like to... So tomorrow we're probably going to be doing Stalker. Because obviously, like, I'll have most of my Lotto farming done and stuff like that. JP's still kind of pretty chill. We'll probably be having like the 90 plus stuff that I'll be doing. But yeah, tomorrow I'm going to be playing some Stalker with you guys because it should be out. I think it comes out tomorrow at lunch. And again, you know, a little bit more FGO on the side. So I hope to see you guys for that. If we have some time as well, I'd like to work in a media share night at some point this week, but we'll see. Again, in the meantime, go give Mr. Gotcha my love. Go check out our latest video on YouTube as well. And I will see you guys for the next one. Have a good evening.